Kahuna, you're muted.
There we go.
Muted me, you son of a gun. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the IRCs. It is I, the Ultimate Kahuna, joined by A.C Pritchard, Dave, and Jarrod Christman. How dare you mute me, sir? How dare you? You planned this all along. I know it. It's because I look Korean and Japanese women think I am Korean. I don't know why. Anyway, tonight we are going to be discussing a lot of different things. Dave's project, the man behind the screen, his writings, as well as the movie he selected, The Northman. We discussed another movie by this director very recently in the form of Nosferatu. And I'm very excited for the discussion regarding that. Anyway, how the hell are you boys doing?
I'm ready. I got my sword in my left hand. I got my meat in my right hand. I'm good to go.
Nice.
Bro, that's the most Highlander Southern thing I can imagine. It's like I got my moonshine and I got my killing stick. We're all good.
Moonshine and killing
It's a good
stick.
time, man. Jarrod, how's the editing been going on your on the movie stuff, man? I saw the trailer. It looks nice, like real.
It's good. It's good. It's good. We have like two like minor shots we have to get, like, but everything else is in place. So what I have right now, there's a couple placeholder shots, and then once I get I need 2 insert shots that'll go in those places, and then it'll be done. I've been working on the color grading this week, and audio's finished, and I'm pretty stoked. I have a new version that no one outside the production has seen yet, and I'm pretty excited to show everybody that one.
I know, and the thing with the color grading is it already looked really good, just raw. Like, honestly, the shots looked really good.
Well, that's the thing. Like the cameras and lenses we use make my job really easy when it comes to coloring.
Oh yeah,
and so that's a nice little bonus. What's funny is, like, on the last film for several scenes we used a camera that was a lot more expensive, that's specifically for filming, and they were a pain in the ass to color grade all those scenes because the capture was just not as clean. It's not as pure a capture. The color scheme, like the color palette, wasn't as good, and it's like, why pay all that extra money for a camera that can't do it, for a camera that can't do it as good, even though it's supposed to be, that's its primary function.
And you got a whole bunch of nerds helping you with this particular project. I met a lot of them. They're cool people. I mean, nerd in the most positive light possible. Like, we have the audio nerd from church. We have the camera nerds, and I'm like, I'm so jealous that you guys are smart with this stuff. It's really cool. But yeah, Dave, how have you been, man? What, like, anything fun in your life recently besides hanging out on the best show on the internet?
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to hang out. Just last month, technically the day after Thanksgiving, my day job, we moved stores. So we moved from a little hole in the wall shop we had. So by day job, the work done to fund the thing I enjoy doing, which is the writing, is I tint and sell architectural paint. We had a little hole in the wall shop in the next town over, and the company owner, about a year and a half ago, went into escrow on a big warehouse building about 3.5 times the size. Just last month.
There you go. Yeah.
Like it finalized in summer. They got everything all kind of installed and set up. And then last month, day after Thanksgiving, we started moving everything over there, got all the racking set up, shelving set up, and then previous month of December has, previous month of December has basically just been slowly getting the stock in, finishing up a couple extra things that needed to be done. And, it put a little delay on the writing projects, put a little delay on my work on Substack, but, it did it's genuinely a much, much better location.
Most creatives in our lane, we're not making a living off of anything we're doing on the internet yet.
No.
It's always like, man, I have all this, I want to be doing this, and this, but I have to Go to work.
Speaking realistically from my perspective too, I think even if I was to get to the point where I was big enough that I could solely make money off my writing, I probably wouldn't do just that because I wouldn't want that to feel like work for me.
Well,
I
you don't
that
want to be
feel
an
like my
alcoholic.
passion. No, and I'm not.
I know. It's like that movie 1308 or 1309. It's like you like scotch? I told you I'm a writer. Yeah. Oh, anyway. AC, my friend, how is it in the frozen wasteland that you inhabit? You got out just in time.
Yeah, it's basically Canada out here. I'm further north than Fargo, so pretty fun time so far. The Hummers made it, so I don't really have to shovel at all, though. So that's pretty cool.
You don't even have to wait for deer to cross. Yeah, it does its job pretty good.
Yeah, just keep going. Just keep going.
I mean, hey, you run one down, that's free dinner for a week.
Right.
I
did
asked
run one
Royce if
down.
he recommends smoking it with a Hummer, and he he had his own theories on that.
Just hang it up in the garage and leave the exhaust going and smoke it up. Get it nice and
Like,
get it
tangy.
nice.
It's like,
tangy.
can you smell those inhospitable chemicals?
It's got a unique zest to it.
Yeah, you gotta see. You gotta wait
It
for that
tastes
nice
like
color.
mental illness.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Paint
You're
chip.
not looking for that nice mahogany color. You want this one to be gunmetal.
Yes, yes. But I've been
I want the meat to be green and for there to be no scientific explanation for it. That's what we
Right.
want. That's the kind of brine that we want.
You want to hear
Infect it
something?
with the weirdness.
You want to hear something kind of funny and kind of gross?
Yeah.
I'm excited
So
to hear it.
a few years ago, I got this buck during late in the rut season, and like he was hard. He was running a doe, like when I shot him, and
That's how you do. Dude,
I
he
get
lived a
him-
good life. He
I
lived a
get him
good life.
in. I get him home. I get him skinned. And first of all, he must have been, and he was a nice buck, and he must have been so hard at it in the rut. He had zero body fat. It's like I don't even know how his neurons fired. There was so little fat under his skin, but he was so full of testosterone that his meat stunk. And as soon as I started peeling the skin, I was like, is he spoiled already? What is going on? Like,
Oh, jeez.
I know
and-
that smell.
like tasted fine, but stunk. Like when
That was
I peeled him, he stunk.
Crazy.
That was like what they say about like lobsters, right? That's why they boil them alive, because there's like that last fire of like that surge of whatever.
Oh,
Or,
so
like,
it's not just for the enjoyment.
It's yeah, I guess not. No, but there's like a reason, because I don't know. I guess it affects it in some way. But like, yeah, I didn't know it like changed the smell of it. That's crazy, Jared.
Oh yeah, he was ripe, dude.
Yeah.
I seriously
no,
thought it spoiled.
If your nose isn't
I would-
busted like mine, you can smell animals in the wild during season.
Oh,
you
yeah.
you can smell. You're like, oh, that's
I'm
that's
just
a
kind
bear.
of impressed
Yeah.
that you managed. I'm just kind of impressed that you managed to clerks the dough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyone who remembers the first
lived a
Clerks
good
movie
life.
should know what I'm talking about.
He lived a good life.
The dough
He went out
was
with class, dude.
the
He
dough
went
looks
out like
like
on the top of his game.
I don't like doing this around here. It's not safe. Trust me, honey.
It'll be fine.
Oh man.
It's fine, I swear.
But the dough, on the other hand, a little traumatized. But no, my week has been good. We did the Monday Night Mavericks yesterday. It was the second one we've done. An ongoing like indie promotional thing on Mondays. As long as John Douglas does his tribute promo thread on Twitter, we'll do it. But Bill actually gave me a hint at some other similar things going on Substack. We would still do it if John ever doesn't do the thing.
yeah. No,
But,
we have all other ways of doing it. I used to do some stuff like that with Royce's thing for Comic Shop Wednesdays when he was still doing that.
And we're trying to bring that same spirit back with that Comic Shop Wednesday. It was nice.
Absolutely.
It's like gather with fellow indies every week, even just to see your own project pop up on the screen. It's cool.
Good times, man.
Yeah, I ended up choosing a book about, it was like this Neolithic epic adventure It looked like it centered around like caveman humans, and I'm just looking at it and I'm like, man, this could go. That was the book I chose. It had really cool art too, but I think I chose it because it just the possibility that these like Neolithic humans could be like fighting cavemen, or sorry, fighting Neanderthals that are like hunting them and stuff. That's a compelling story to me, and I'm like, I don't see anybody writing caveman stories, so that's the one I chose personally.
Well, you're going to be talking to someone who does.
Oh heck yeah,
I
man!
was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah,
I wrote an article on
funny.
Neanderthals. I should send you.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Funny enough,
Yeah.
actually, that kind of sounds like Robert E. Howard's first ever story. Kind of had his first published story in Weird Tales had something to do with that. It's called Spear and Fang, and it was about a tribe of Cro-Magnon people going to war with Neanderthals. So very
Yeah.
similar kind of conceit.
Anytime I learn something new about Robert E. Howard, I'm like, he's so much cooler than I thought.
Oh, agreed. I thoroughly believe that we have like in our DNA deep down at some point in our timeline, because of that clash with Neanderthals, we were a food source and we were compatible to breed with. Dangerous combination. So it was responsible for a lot of like the bottleneck of humanity. That's why you can trace the genetics in a lot of different ways. But I think there's some trauma buried in that DNA somewhere. And this is why archetypes like the evil monster always keeps recurring in stories. It's kind of what my article is about. I kind of break it all down.
It goes
I line all up
into
and
it,
break it down. Yeah. Including stories like maybe the Northman, this is actually past the point in humanity where I think we began telling stories about like other people, right? Because this is Hamlet, right? Did this come before Hamlet? It's based on the legend of Amleth, right?
Yeah, it's a very old tale.
Yeah.
But
Which one came first?
Well, it's based on the legend of Amleth, but it basically tells the legend of Amleth in the format of Hamlet.
yeah, it alters it a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like it's a good archetype of a story. Like The Lion King is the same thing technically. Like I've seen this before.
That's how you know you've culturally made it. When your story becomes like an archetype. Tolkien is getting there too. That's why so much fantasy feels Tolkien-esque. Just even the grand adventure, right? I'll be honest with you, looking at that Neolithic caveman book, it kind of was like, hey, this kind of feels like Lord of the Rings, but like set in like the real world, just way back in the day, and I'm just starting to imagine like the orcs are Neanderthals, which is really clever because that's probably where the idea came from to begin with.
I mean,
It's an interesting idea, but yeah, was everybody able to watch the movie? Black people?
I rewatched it last night. So, yes.
Yes.
I was told the orcs were supposed to be black people. That's what.
Yes,
that's what
obviously.
just said.
Remember the non-racist people came up with that idea. Remember,
there's a subset of people, mainly within the Wizards of the Coast Company, that believe that. I think, and maybe like some Redditors.
Fuck Watsy.
Yes. But most normal people don't.
I have no kind words left to say about them.
Most normal people are just like orcs is orcs.
And if you are in the
Imagine being a
40K
normal
thing,
man.
you're kind of like British fungus, technically.
Yeah, and if you go far
If you
enough
guys
back,
haven't heard the voice acting for the orcs in Warhammer 40K, oi, they
Oh,
sound like
bloody.
boys.
British Cogni
Oh
accent,
my
right?
lord, yeah, it's so
Oh, governor.
funny. Very,
Yeah.
do British Cockney accent, then you got to growl real deep at the same time.
We got the blasters in the
crowding peoples all the time.
Yeah.
paint it red, make it go faster.
This
It's like, holy
Yellow blows up bigger, red goes faster, and purple is the sneakiest because you've never seen a purple orc.
Exactly.
That's the actual lore.
I thought it was
Purple
blue.
is the
I thought it
sneakiest
was
color
blue, but
because
yeah.
you've never seen a purple orc.
The weird thing about this too is that kind of like idea and archetype has stuck with it, because like you look at games like Fallout, their version of the orc is kind of like the super mutant, which they don't have the accent. It's like the American version of that. They all have that voice though, and they just yell at you because I'm a super mutant, and that's kind of how they talk.
Also, I saw the
will-
orc's teeth in Warhammer 40K. I'm like, oh yeah, they are British.
yeah.
Funny bit of lore from that. Their teeth are their currency. When they knock each other's teeth out, that's one of the things they trade for fucking weapons.
That's a good currency. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a non-fungible token. It's like a unique
Yep.
So
Yep.
the status symbol to have more or less fake teeth.
Status symbol to have more of another's teeth.
Gotcha.
Yes.
And
Kind
if
of-
I'm not mistaken, they also regrow their teeth. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
not
they're like sharks.
Oh, yeah.
not the worst thing in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
No,
Hey. We could talk Warhammer all night, but let's get back to the Northman here. I love Warhammer, by the way. Some of my
Yeah, me
favorite
too.
gifs to respond with online. But I got the Amleth legend pulled up because I'm just curious. What are the differences? But just a synopsis of the Northman. Essentially, the kid witnesses his dad get killed and his mom get kidnapped, and he lives a life among he lives a life among Berserker Vikings, just kind of becoming the apex of fighting and war and death. Becomes the Norse John Wick, essentially. And
He also Skarsgård is a big boy. Like I didn't realize how tall he was. He's a big guy.
he's a Norse guy.
Holy
Yeah.
smokes.
I think my wife put it perfectly last night when she said, "God damn, I could get trapped in those traps."
Yeah, literally. Like, dude's fucking ripped. But
You're like, you take your shirt off.
But he
Now.
But
can't
he ends
compare
up
to that.
living this whole life learning the Berserker ways. Gets wind, that the guy who killed his father is vulnerable. So he's like, hey, maybe I can rescue mom. Decides to leave the Berserkers and go pursue that. And
Which was nutty.
story
My dad
unfolds.
watched this movie with me, and I'm like, he branded himself, and now he's trying to swim to sneak his way
wild. That's compelling too.
onto a
man.
slave ship. I'm like, he would absolutely burn his boats. That's the kind of guy he is.
Yes.
It's like, I don't do anything halfway.
No, he's
Oh,
committed.
and beyond that too, I was really geeking out about because who's the director again? Eggers.
Eggers.
Yeah, Robert
Eggers?
Eggers.
Robert Eggers.
Wait, pause. How do we say his name? Because I F it up every time.
Eggers.
Eggers.
Robert Eggers.
Eggers.
Like
Eggers
you do,
sounds like a
like
slur.
you're an egger.
Yeah.
You do eggs. You do eggs. You're an egger.
Dirty, filthy Egger.
Egg
Yeah.
chucking son of a bitch.
Egg shucking. He cares about symbolism, which I really enjoy that about his movies. Like
Wait.
Um,
AC, are you into symbolism?
a little. I
never
kind of
knew
like
that.
it.
I never knew that.
Nah, I hate it.
Interesting.
I have to find it because I hate it so much. Yeah.
Just
But like-
even on AC, look at the symbolism on him. The openness of his earlobe indicates the openness of his spirit.
I'm listening. It's like indicating that I'm listening, and I
He's
have the open
listening more
ear.
than anybody else, actually.
I have I have the open ear facing the camera, so I'm listening to you chat. But anyway, just basically, you're right. There's no half measures, right? He would burn his boats. He's this kind of guy, and especially if he's lived essentially an orphan life among, this is debated, but essentially outcasts of the Norse community. Some would argue. The movie did a good job at mentioning that it's kind of a cult. Also debated and argued. It's kind of hard to get into the nitty gritty of the historical details of some of this stuff, but.
Well, because like a lot of stories this old, it's become mixed with myth. A lot of Hawaiian stories are like that as well. It's like you have the history, but then you will have the myth, and where they separate is not always clear.
And the bigger challenge too is you got to consider also that a lot of that ancient history is completely lost, and a lot of it just flat out was never written down.
That's what I was
So-
going to say. Yeah.
A lot of it has to kind of be extracted from the myth. Like how much of it is actually real, and that's even something the movie plays with. That's a question the movie asks, like throughout, with the details it shows and the little contrasts that it will show in the individual scenes, and from earlier scenes to later scenes. Like, it begs you to ask, particularly with the visions, the many visions that Amleth has. It begs you to ask, how real are these? Is he actually seeing these? Leaves you uncertain.
That's what I
Well,
was going to say.
his sword, yeah, in the movie, I'm like, well, his sword didn't come out of the sheath, so it doesn't indicate that maybe But also, he's like on mushrooms half this movie, so it's really
Yeah.
it's a little tougher to tell there. But
Oh, when I pulled my sword out earlier, just joking around when when he had his, it actually like
Freezing.
it's a little rusty right now from being in storage and like moving around a couple times, so it like got stuck, and I was just like, what a perfect what a perfect thing. I'm like, I have a hungry sword. Oh no. But yeah, what I was gonna say is with the symbolism, he cared about it, and so and this character has no half measures. So when he says to the god Odin, "Hey, I literally promise that I'm gonna give my whole life to this idea of vengeance," within the context of like Norse myth and the setting of how much of this is real magic and how much of it is just happening in a grounded real life kind of way. He can't have any half measures. He has to burn the boat whenever every choice comes along, because then the alternative is an affront to the gods. And in Norse culture, you're basically screwed. The rest of your life is screwed. Basically, you're cursed. Like, you're not gonna, if you don't die in some embarrassing way, you'll probably just be very miserable in some other way for cursing the gods.
also, Amleth is not a good dude. I do appreciate that. It's very clear from the beginning. Like, they're just raiding these people.
Yep, he's a berserker.
There's no heroic backstory. They just want, you have thing, we want a thing, we take thing. Yes, that's
It's actually
all
kind of
that
tragic.
is.
It's kind of tragic too, because when you think about his upbringing, like, sure, there'd be some of that because it's Norse culture, right? There's a whole season dedicated to.
Well, he just
raiding.
made like 35 new Amleths because of all those kids who are going to be slaves.
That's my point. It's
Their
kind of a
families
tragedy
destroyed.
because he had a destroyed family and became this orphan kid. And so the life of a berserker, which is probably the most exaggerated form of the Norse raiding culture, just showcases how lost this child was throughout his life. And so it's like a tragedy, but he's also not a good guy. And, people can make their own choices to a certain degree at some point. So
Also, how do we feel about his mom? For the streets. Sorry. You guys talk. I want to know your opinion.
The first time I watched the movie, which was a few months ago, the treachery was sort of half expected for me.
Oh yeah, I figured.
Mostly just because of the format of the story and how it was sort of building up to that. This second time around, like, there's definitely that poetic sense to it. Like, that, of all the things in this story, that is, for me, his realization of, like, the truth about that
His father
death and the attempted killing of himself was sanctioned by her when he thought that she was an unwilling participant this entire time. Probably the single most Shakespearean feeling thing in the entire movie to me.
Tragic and familial. It feels that always feels Shakespearean, as long as it's properly dramatic and people have an opportunity to explain themselves regarding their poor choices.
the more I think about it, a lot of Old Norse myth is very Shakespearean. A lot of it.
Well, you guys want to know 90% of all mythology across every culture in all of the world? Someone fucks someone they're not married to. They have bastard. Bastard is either killed by parent or kills their parent. That's 90% of all mythology stories for all,
pretty much the gist.
Every culture across all of human history for all time.
Yeah.
Kills the parent or kills the legitimate sibling.
You might be able to come. This might be a fun video for the future, guys. But I don't know. What do you think about lining up a bunch of mythological cultures, comparing them, finding all the similarities like Kahuna kind of just laid out, and then creating a hero's journey? Because the hero's journey is basically all stories, including myth, right, throughout the ages. But what if we just focused on myth and created like the story circle, the holy hand grenade of story tools, right? It's just like it's like what mythology uses, right? The mythological hero's journey.
Bring out the holy hand grenade.
As long as we remember, 4 thou shalt not count, neither count thou 2, excepting that thou then proceed to 3. Which also ties into the mythology thing and the rule of 3s.
But that's neither here nor there. Just a fun idea that we can put a pin in.
Oh yeah,
pull the pin out of.
We could even, if we're smart, we could even make a generator. It's like, who conceived you? Roll a dice. Okay. This god or demigod. Okay.
I rolled
what
Greek.
member of your family do you have to kill? Roll a dice again.
Oh, dang it. I rolled Aztec for that one. I got to capture him. Dang it.
You must sacrifice a human baby.
There you go.
There you go.
So, guys, I learned something.
Yes.
Hamlet is based off of the Amleth legend. It's not
Well, there
the
you
other
go.
way around. Yeah, it's not the movie based off of Hamlet. It's the movie based off of Amleth, which is based off of Hamlet, which Hamlet is based off of. So when we kind of
That makes sense.
when we kind of keyed in on the Norse mythology being very Shakespearean, that's where Shakespeare probably got a lot of.
Guys, don't fall for
Inspiration.
this gobbledygook that AC's saying. He knew this beforehand. He didn't just discover it. He just wanted to look cool for the internet. Anyway,
Breaking news. But yeah,
Thanks,
it's
Mike.
interesting.
I researched this on Sunday.
It's interesting though, and another thing, like what you were saying before, a lot of it's lost, and a lot of it was just not written down. That's literally it too. Like there's this blending that happened with Norse and Christianity, and a lot of there was a lot of good faith, like priests and monks and stuff that tried to preserve some of it, but they still just couldn't help but put a little bit of a little Christian spin on it, which is fine. I mean, I'm just happy we have anything left, but that's what you got to do when people don't write their stuff down a lot of the time. And then there was other ones that destroyed it.
The biggest expansions of those kind of people from those cultures happened when they became largely Christian culturally.
Yeah, then they start writing stuff down. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Turns out
even
writing
like-
stuff down pretty important for empire building. Yeah.
A little bit. Otherwise, you're just a bunch of really strong tribes just that conquer everybody until technology catches up. And then
Also, real quick to take us off topic, like we never do during a normal show. I saw a preview for the upcoming 28 Days Later like spinoff, The Bone Temple.
Mhm.
It's like there's a super zombie, and he's huge, and then they show him. I'm like, that's just a Polynesian dude. He's not even different. It's like, what do you?
You guys just Samoan.
Yeah.
He's just a little bigger than normal, but not much.
Yeah.
It's like, and also, I need to look it up because it looks exactly like a Polynesian actor that I know. I'm like, that looks just like that guy. I need to look it up.
Probably is.
Yeah. It's like, we don't have to give him a weird looking head. He's already got one. Oh man. But yeah, no, there's a lot of things to praise about this movie. I looked into it quite a bit after I watched it. There's a lot of the realism behind the sets, behind the lighting, behind a lot of the cultural things, the music, the costumes, all of that was great. This movie takes its time and it really lets you live in long shots.
Mm-hmm.
I think that has been done. I don't mind that style. I just prefer. I don't know. For me, it did not work for me very well in this movie as much. I feel like it might have been would have been better if that wasn't done maybe 30% of the time less, 30% less than it was done. But just a small complaint. What about you guys?
Well, what do you think of the long shots with like the action scenes? Because there's one in particular. He catches the spear and then throws it back. That was a long shot.
Yes.
Yeah, and there was other ones like notably
Get it?
with the
A
action
long
scenes.
shot. Get it?
Yeah.
Yes,
long
Figured
shot.
it out. Yeah.
But yeah, there's other ones too. But like specifically around the action scenes, what'd you think about it, Ben?
I like that in the action scenes. I think it makes the action interesting, and it really lets you get a better feel for a battle. Unlike a lot of these movies
Yeah.
and shows based around like these older times, like you don't really have an idea about the flow of the battle in a way that feels easy to follow. Even though you are just following one, there's enough stuff going on in the background. The choreography, the timing is all really good, and so you get a pretty good sense of what's happening. And that's not something you always see in these kind of movies, and that's not always the purpose behind an action scene. Also, sometimes it's meant to show brutality or something else, or the fear of someone. And if you're doing that for an individual, maybe the shaky cam close-up multi-angle weirdness works better for that scene. But in this movie, I thought the long shots worked well for the action scenes. I was more just talking about the long lingering shots where nothing where very little is happening, and you're just focusing on either the environment or a character's expression. Not bad. It was too much for me in this movie. But yeah, no, I appreciated the action scenes.
It's interesting that you had mentioned the brutality thing along with it, because that's actually one thing that I think those long shots really helped you sit in with this movie in the battles, is how broad and brutal they are. Like this does not shy away. The Northman does not shy away at all from the blood, the savagery, the filth of battle. It lives in that. It almost revels in that in its own way. And yeah, like through both what it shows and what it chooses not to show and just give you the aftermath of, it really lets you sit in just how vicious a lot of that hand-to-hand fighting is.
That's hand-to-hand fighting was. Children, yay!
For me, I think the action were the best part of the film. Especially, and there weren't very many of them, but they were really, really well done, which was surprising because that's not something Eggers is known for. Like Eggers is not an action guy, but that raid, that Berserker raid,
it's so good.
One of the best choreographed and shot scenes.
And if you go back, you go back and watch that, go back and watch it, but you got to watch it 3 times. You watch everything that's following Amleth, but then watch the middle ground and then watch the background.
Yep.
Because it is as close to flawless as you will find.
Yeah. Yes, Jared. Yeah.
Does
that require? Okay, here's my suspicion. Okay, I'm not like the movie director here. That's very much you. Okay, so as the director guy, the movie guy, does that require actors that are worth their salt and a set budget? Because my interpretation of it is you need these actors to do good in these long spanning shots, and you need the backgrounds to be completely convincing. So that's how you get, like, I don't know, maybe trained extras in the background fighting. You know what I'm saying? Crazy stuff like a burning building that's actually burning. You know,
I think there's a couple things there. I think there are cuts. They're just really well hidden. Most long shots in modern films do have them. It's look at this long shot. It's not a solid all the way.
It's not one take. It's not a one take shot, or it's not a one take sequence. But for that to have that much background action going on at that level, you're not at that point. You're not hiring actors. You're hiring stuntmen.
Yeah,
and people very adept at fight choreography. Most of them are going to have years of martial arts experience or training, because you got to know how to move. So
they probably have out loud timers going as well. Like you have to be here at a certain beat, and then
they'll have fight coordinators. They'll have fight coordinators hidden offset, calling out beats. And then for the other stuff, it's like that requires the budget. The budget, I bet, for that scene was pretty hefty, because for everything that's burning, you've got to be able for those kind of scenes, you have to be able to reset to 1 and start over. And so everything that's burning has to be on fire without burning up. So all that fire has to look real, but be manufactured. Because if someone falls down in the wrong place or they miss their mark or the shot's not what the director needs, you got to be able to reset and start over. Especially if you're trying to do a long take like that, where you need the illusion of from action to cut is one movement, one camera movement.
Yeah.
That can require sometimes to be having to go back farther than you would normally have to go back if you were cutting. It's like, okay, there's a definite cut here and there's a definite cut there. So your positions, like your first, second, third, fourth, however many positions there are, maybe you have to go back farther, which requires a lot of planning and
a lot of
of
coordination.
and a lot
And
of
you
practice.
also have
They
to
rehearse that. I
Yeah.
bet anything there was at least 6 months of rehearsal for that scene.
It's one of the best
plus
games.
if you like the way the camera turns, so it's not like you're seeing just one direction. So all these sets have to be 3-dimensional,
Yeah.
which is a lot more work. A lot of sets people don't realize are just illusions to look real, but aren't real. And this set had to be very, very close to real. and
Pieces of it
fleshed out.
did. Everything in the foreground had to be able to turn like one on your 180
Mhm.
and make sure that everything is in world.
Yeah, really quick. We have a super chat from Pritchard Pub. Titty titties.
Titles, titties.
It is that
Yep.
time.
I
Yep,
like
it
how
is
she
that
spelled
time.
tit in titles. Thank you. Hold on.
Those titties.
We have a tradition. That overlay going. That spicy overlay.
Oh, it never gets old.
$20, man. That's a pretty good tip.
Oh my.
Yeah.
That's all I got in me today, boys. I've been wet
That's
all
fine.
day. Just once. Blind for a bikini barista position. They said I just don't have the figure. Anyway.
Oh,
What do they know?
let me fix that.
No. Just let it play the entire time. Hold on.
Okay,
So just loop it.
there we go. Oh, I was gonna let it loop. Okay.
No, I was joking, you clown. Anyway.
Yeah. The long spanning shots. You know, other movies are famous for this. 1917, 300. Also, consequently, a couple of my favorite movies. I think there's something about those long shots with the action scene, and I think you guys touched on it. It like drives home that brutality. Lets you live in it, like you said.
Yeah.
Well, you
and that's
see
like
it.
300.
You're witnessing it as you would in real time. It gives you the illusion of real time.
That's
The
nice.
first film festival that we were featured in, there was a short film that was one of the best versions of the one take illusion that I've ever seen, and it was a commercial within 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 a film set.
Oh wow.
Within another film set. Like it was 7 and it was, I think the whole short film was like 8.5 minutes long, and it was like just this continual like 360-degree camera move
Transformation. Yeah.
where people would walk out, like you'd have this thing, it would like rotate into the scene would play out, the director would call cut, it would move around to the director, the actors would file it, and then it would just like go in, it would just this continual thing.
That had to be so much work.
Oh my gosh, especially for that long. You think about and having to be flawless for that long, and
Yeah.
at the end of it, at the Q&A, like he was like walk through where their cuts were, but there weren't very many of the cuts, and it was planning and
Like
practice.
someone walks in front of the camera and you cut it right then, and it's like, oh, that was clever. If you know what you're looking for, you can find them. But yeah, no, it's great. But
yeah, this did good at those long shots. Just to read,
it was good at those long shots.
Yeah.
I finally noticed something that I've talked to a friend of mine, the Lord Otter, about Roger Eggers. I'm trying, man.
Hail the Lord Otter.
Roger Eggers. He edges. That's what he does.
He edges. Yeah.
Also, Robert Eggers. Robert.
Roger Edger.
You are wrong. Swear.
Roger Edger.
Very. I'm so.
is that his?
Yeah. Bob. Anyway, Bob Edgers, as his known. Yeah. Bobby Lee Edgers. He, as we know him, he's kind of obsessed with the occult.
He is. Yeah.
And in some movies, I think it works, but it's almost a bit too much in some of his films. And this is the first film of his I've seen where I kind of noticed it. I'm like, we're spending a lot of time in these weird little rituals. Maybe more than I would like to live in those scenes myself.
This movie is very much steeped in the concept of weirdness. Yeah. And I don't mean weird like W-I-E-R-D. I mean like the old school spelling where we're talking about the supernatural, the uncanny, the bizarre, and the otherworldly. This movie lives in that. Like I mentioned early on, that's the thing that it really begs you to question. How real are these visions that Amleth sees? Because it drops so many hints that, like maybe they are real, but then again, it drops a lot of hints that his visions are not reliable. One of the biggest, two of the biggest ones being his fight with the undead king, and when the Valkyrie, after he gets captured in the final act of the movie, when the Valkyrie spirits him out of his uncle's farm. That's one of the most stunning shots in the movie. Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But just one little line, like it's so easy to miss. It's just one little line from Olga sticks the question in your head. He wakes up in the spring and he asks, "Is this Valhalla?" And she says, "Oh, I can't carry you that far."
Right. So, my wife was like, after the end, my wife was like, "So is she dead then?" Because he sees Olga, right? And so is the implication then that she's already on the other side of the Veil of Tears and helping usher him over, or is this just him? Like, so what's going on here? And that's the whole.
Just a high teenager the entire time.
Right.
All these
Critics, though, could argue that that's bad writing because critics don't like to be confused, right?
I'm okay with the ambiguity, but this movie does sit in the occult.
Yeah,
it's not that I don't even mind occult things in movies, but it feels like it jerks it off a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. I feel so from somebody who loves occult. I personally do like occult, right? It's interesting, it's cool, it's epic, but like I actually agree with you here. Not full on. I'm a little bit more comfortable chilling, with the weird witch doing a ritual and trying to look for the symbolism and all this stuff because I have my symbolism weird, like autism going on there. But I digress. It was a little too heavy, I think, because I know there's a lot of that with Old Norse, right? And that's kind of some of the appeal with Old Norse, but at the same time, there's still the general appeal of like, hold on, just like Norse Vikings, awesome, badass, in a very practical way, right? Because that was one of the cool things about the Vikings. It's a bunch of dudes hop in this boat that they made and somehow get across the ocean and just like have their freaking like axes that they all made and like they just build whatever they need. They're walking forces of nature essentially at that point.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm of a different mind. than that, because like one of the things I don't like about this film, and again, like I've not heard anybody else have this same criticism, so it could just be me, and that's fine. The all in all, like from a world building standpoint, this story felt very small.
Felt very singular because it was anything that happened had to do with one character.
Yeah, but that doesn't. But like the character is large. The character's a big character. The world just felt small, and like so like when it came to all of that really like esoteric, occulty, like Nordic paganism, like I like it's again like I felt like, which is my critique with a lot of films, seems like recently, is it didn't fully commit. Like it was there, but it's like they didn't lean, for my taste, either far enough into it or far enough away from it. It was just there, and like there was like that's a perfect vehicle to make this much more epic than it was. And it just
they didn't all have a narrative purpose. It felt like there were a lot of those scenes where things just happen, and it doesn't really. Like there's hints of some things. It's not completely devoid of narrative value, but it just doesn't carry the same narrative weight as I would perhaps want out of one of those scenes.
The thing is, like, there's the film, the story is a fantasy story. The film is a fantasy story, or the story is fantasy, and yet the film wanted to be grounded too much, so that I think they missed an opportunity. They missed an opportunity to do both very well at the same time. You could ground it, you can make it gritty, you can have that berserker fight scene, you can show like authentic, historically accurate Viking life, and also make it grand and epic, especially like with that kind of budget. And they did, and I get it, like that's not, I get that, like Eggers has his thing, like that's like he likes that like intimate, very historically authentic and accurate period pieces with their spin, and he's really good at it. And at the same time, when you have like and maybe it's just because I am a bone marrow deep devotee of Scandinavian metal, but there was an opportunity for that to be done on an epic scale that I feel like was missed. And so like that was one thing that like, while I liked the movie, that element of it was very disappointing for me.
I can see that, but if I can offer a counterpoint. I think that the point of
actually. No.
Oh, okay. I see.
I'm just kidding, Dave.
Okay.
No.
I think the occult scenes had a different purpose than I think it seems like on the surface. And now this could very well just be me reading a little too much into it, but with all the moments, all the hints that they drop about the unreliability of Amleth's visions, and in particular with the major choice that he has to make going into the final act and the final conflict of the movie, which is asked in the form of the question, you're going to have to choose between, what will you choose between hatred for your enemies and love for your kin? Amleth claims he is choosing both, but he's not. No, he's not.
Right.
He is choosing hatred for his enemies. If he was, because he can't choose both. He has convinced himself with these visions, these things that he's seeing, with his beliefs and this idea he was raised with that he must take vengeance. He has convinced himself that what he is doing when he finally leaves Olga on that boat, that he's protecting her because he's going to stop his uncle. But we already know at that point in the movie, his uncle has no power left. His uncle has lost his kingdom. His uncle has been reduced to a sheep farmer living with like 15 guys.
Yeah,
in the middle of Iceland.
his dad honestly got out, like, betrayed by brother. At least he's not a bitch living on another, like.
Yeah,
Well-
and it's like the guy who was talking about him after the raid said, like, oh yeah, you know, he betrayed his brother for nothing.
Mhm.
He had he was reduced from a king to a sheep farmer. Realistically, there was nothing his uncle could do to pursue him. But
No.
he was so stuck in on his belief in those visions, so stuck in on that ritualism, so completely convinced of that in a very immature, boyish way, that he abandoned the new duty, the new opportunity he had to be a father, to start a new line, to actually be there to protect his wife. Because
To do
when you
what
think
his
about it-
father didn't do. His father's a dick.
exactly, he
Can we talk?
he
Can we talk about
made
that?
the exact same mistakes of his father when he had the opportunity to actually make a choice and stay with his woman, raise his family, go to Orkney with her.
Yep.
Because that's the other thing to consider too. Yes, he gives the sailor, the boatman, the ring, his dad's ring, to give to the people at Orkney so that he will get paid. Amleth has no guarantees that that's going to keep her safe. For all he knows, they're going to get there. That guy's going to be like, hey, this dude gave me this ring, so you give me a bunch of money for it. Oh, this is our cousin's ring. Yeah, thank you for giving this to us. Who's this bitch? Oh, some Slav? Throw in the slave pens. He
Yep.
has no guarantee. He's not there.
Yep.
He has no
Yep.
way of knowing he's going to protect her.
Bingo.
So this
Also,
the
his
visions-
dad doomed him to the very choices that he made. And did his dad know he was going to be like killed? Did he?
No, I don't
suspect
think.
it?
I don't think he did.
I don't
I don't
think he
think he
did,
knew.
but it
He
seems
knew.
like a really bad timing.
Yeah, well, it's not really clear how long after his return the murder happens too. Like that's
I
like
figured it out. I know why all the occult scenes are there. So I was going to argue that you could have like maybe one occult scene. I'll say the Norn, when the Norn pops up and tells him his whole quest. You could have like that one, and then just kind of pay special attention to little weird details that happen for the rest of the time, akin to the little detail of the sword, not, like just a little detail here and there. And you could make people like Kahuna feel a little bit more comfortable, for example, and
It's not that I'm
not live in the
uncomfortable,
occult.
It just felt it felt purposeless.
I know
Not
what you mean.
because it just like the scenes are so long, and then it doesn't do as much as equivalent scenes in other films.
Yeah.
it felt
I guess
excessive to you.
my whole point, that's fair. That's totally fair. My whole point, I could see that being throughout the entire movie because we are following him, and once he's gone, the movie's done. So it's very much his story, his perspective, his outlook on life, his worldview. You see what I'm saying? He's a berserker taking psychedelic mushrooms, living a spiritual lifestyle where they literally believe that they become beasts in order to do these crazy acts. So if he believes that, if he's a berserker, which he is and was, like, that's why you had that long drawn out scene of him screaming over and over again, which is an awesome scene. I come and go from it. I'm like, this is a little too long, and then it comes back to awesome. But I digress. If that's his
A lot of the scenes
worldview,
in this movie.
if that's his worldview, then yeah, he's going to be seeing Norns, and he's going to be seeing his god, specifically Odin, which there's an Odin scene, and he's going to think all this stuff, and everything's going to feel occult. And actually, Jarrod, I would actually add that that's how big his world is too. The world was small. Yeah.
Right.
So-
I think like what you're saying there is like you show us through Amleth's eyes what the world he sees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like show us more of that, more of the Norns, more of this spiritual stuff that is informing him and his perception of reality. and that make that the vehicle to increase the scope of the story, the size,
commit
like
to
the
it.
size of the world. And
Yeah,
I mean,
so for myself personally, like I stand on the stance, like I felt like for the story it was trying to tell, that the occult and the reality hit that right balance, and it took me doing a second watch of this to really for that feeling to sink in, because it was on that second watch that I really started noticing all the various instances where the film makes you question the reality of his visions, more than just the two obvious ones being the undead king, where he has the fight and then he's just standing before the king and he takes the sword and it crumbles. And
I was
then the
also
other
like,
one,
I've seen this
That was
scene
cool.
in Conan.
yeah, well, yeah,
Those
very
are-
true.
Oh,
Ugh.
The
That was a
other
cool scene.
scene then, of course, being the first Valkyrie scene, where then Olga drops that hint that no, she was the one who actually dragged him out of the village after he got like beaten into unconsciousness. You know, which then also makes you question: was it actually those 7 ravens that kept his ropes free, or did she sneak in there and do that? You know, it drops a lot of little things like that throughout it that you don't really notice the first time. At least I didn't notice the first time through. That makes you really second guess the veracity of what he is seeing in his mind's eye.
AC, you're muted, dude.
Yeah.
Had
We're
to
both
check.
talking and
Am I
both
good?
muted.
There you go.
Good now. It was my cord. I bumped my mic. So what was I saying? I was kind of geeking out on the ambiguity too after the watch, kind of rambling on to my wife, and yeah, like the whole thing like comes off like a little bit of a fever dream, like, and those little
Very
details where like he's fighting the thing. There's the whole epic fight, and then it just cuts to the thing crumbling. It's just like, that's awesome. That was like, I don't know what to think now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's also kind of just like a weird thing happening that he could also be just imagining. Oh, and they were dropping the hints when the Norse guy was like, "Oh, the hair of a Valkyrie wasted on a Slav, bitch."
Mhm.
Little clue
Yeah.
there. Little clue there. She's the Valkyrie, right? She's the Valkyrie
Yeah.
that pulled him out. Yeah.
For me too, the biggest moment of question are the contrast between the last 2 times you see Olga. The first time being when she's actually leaving Iceland on the boat, and she begs him to stay, and he's just totally convinced that no, I can't stay. I have to go. I have to kill my uncle. Even though realistically, when you look at the situation,
Why do you have to kill your uncle? It's too late. Your mom's a.
Because it'd be
Yeah.
an affront to the gods, right? It's like the
Yeah.
superstition I was talking about earlier.
Yeah,
he has to.
it's his
Odin's
it's his
watching.
superstitions. Yeah, he fully believes that. So he abandons her. He abandons his line, and you can see her grief and her anger in that, and like her desire. Like she feels betrayed. Like I always have taken the spell that she says that like play at the idea is like, does she actually conjure the wind, or is this just happenstance? But with the way Anya Taylor-Joy acts out that
She's a
speaking of
great
the spell,
actress.
like
She's never.
she is, yeah. But you can hear the grief in her voice. Like she is
Very good.
upset. She is angry. She is like just crushed by the fact that we had the chance to be free together, and you just abandoned me. But then we get to the final scene with his vision, and in the vision, she's totally okay with his choice. Not a chance.
Right.
Not a chance.
Right. And like my wife pointed out, already on the other side of the afterlife, welcoming him. Yeah, like
is.
what like was it Kahuna who pointed it out earlier? They could just take the ring and be like, "Oh, who's this chick?" Toss her in the slave pen.
Right, yeah,
and after what she just
that.
yeah, and then after what she just went through, you really think she's gonna be like you think she's gonna put up with that? And then, horrible things can happen, like she can lose the baby and then just get pissed and off herself or something. So you never know, but like, yeah, that vision at the end, she's like on the other side already. So it's like, and you're right, she's just magically okay with it. Yeah. The last we saw her, she was weeping and summoning the wind out of her grief with mom magic. Yet she's okay with it now. Oh, cool,
I
bro.
suppo-
You died.
This movie does feel a little nihilistic to me. Not majorly, not as bad as some, but
Yeah.
it's enough that I want a point of light, and I don't feel like there was like the only
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
maybe the kids will be cool and nothing bad will happen to them. That's
It
the only
is.
point of light in this movie for me.
Yeah. It is like. It is not a pleasant look at paganism. It's a very bleak look at paganism.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like y'all need Jesus. Like
Yeah.
yesterday.
It kind of does explain a little bit too why because like, okay, if these people, they had like boat technology figured out, they had sword technology figured out, look up the Ulfbert sword. They had all these aspects figured out so far before everybody else, and they never got off the ground because it was just like three brothers fighting.
Yeah.
And so the three brothers are so busy fighting that everybody else just advances beyond them, and then their religion doesn't survive either because Christianity figured it out. They wrote it down, they got organized, probably believed it harder, if I'm
Well,
honest. I mean,
specifically for that culture, a culture that is so big on revenge and honor and
they probably believed it pretty
being
hard.
and vengeance as a whole is a huge part of that old culture. I just think of that quote from Red Rising, my favorite series of all time. Death begets death, begets death, begets death. The cycle, if it's always an eye for an eye, people are always dying, tragically, for no reason, for all time. That is the only possible outcome from living that way and having it be such a central part of your culture. And I do think that movie illustrates this. It's not only that you continue the cycle of death, you're also denying new life and extinguishing new life, or even the possibility of peace. And it is tragic in that sense. And I'm down for a tragedy. I think I don't think I was in the mood to watch a tragic.
Hamlet, right? Tragic Shakespeare, Hamlet. This story of Hamlet, but like, it also kind of showcased with them with the thralls and the slaves and stuff, how you got these rival Vikings fighting, it eliminates their own bloodline that way, and then simultaneously you're taking slaves and kind of diluting the remaining bloodlines in other ways too. So you can see how over time, like Anya Taylor-Joy's character, a Slav with Valkyrie hair, right? A Slav with Valkyrie hair. Her character in itself, we're seeing the decline, right, in real time a little bit, or reasons for it showcased very subtly. But I digress. How about we give our final votes here on it?
Yeah,
and,
final thoughts, final votes.
I'm going to say it floats. Before I pass it, I'll say it floats. Various reasons. AC likes the symbolism. I like the long shots. There's some masterful things in here, and if I can say it's masterful, it's hard to sink it. I'm looking. There's inconsistencies with the Amleth legend,
Lore.
quite a bit actually, but that's okay. It's more of a legend, which is different than like source material, I guess. But as long as they don't bastardize it, didn't feel very bastardized. But yeah, I give it a float. Jarrod, what do you think?
I give it a float. Yeah, I think it floats. Like, it's metal, it's Swedish, it's Norwegian, it's Scandinavian, it's Vikings. So yeah. I mean, despite my misgivings about it, like I think it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
Eggers is very, very, very good at what he does, and I think this is a good example of it. So yeah, floats for me.
Oh, yeah, I think the occult stuff works way better in Nosferatu.
Yes,
because it's already a cult, and that's kind of what I was trying to say. Is like he's injecting occult into Norse, which there's some occult there, but Norse has a lot of other cool things that are practical. Nosferatu is an entirely occult story, so that's why
it's about a clearly defined evil that's supposed to be evil,
and it's mysterious and occult, right? So when you do it in this instance, it makes it feel Lovecraftian, which both movies are kind of Lovecraftian, but And it has its own appeal. But I digress. I feel like Nosferatu is a better movie because of that, because that blends well. It blends not bad here, but it just like it is Nosferatu. It is a cult, you know. But anyway, what do you think, Dave?
Thinking on that, could potentially even argue, since this came, like maybe this was sort of a build up to Nosferatu, sort of in a similar way to, I mean, completely unrelated genre, completely unrelated movies, but sort of in a similar way to how a lot of people see Clint Eastwood's Pale Rider as a build up to Unforgiven. You know,
Yes,
could be sort of seen in a similar light.
He's figuring it out. Like he's like, what if I just did an occult movie, right? Like,
Well,
and it worked well for The Witch too.
Yeah, I was gonna say every movie he's made has been a cult, like with a very heavy occult element. Because there's The Witch. There's one more that I can't remember right now. I'll look it up.
Did he do Midsummer?
Yeah.
I think he might have.
And that's again same thing. Very, very occult kind of stuff going on there.
But yeah, if he chooses an occult premise, it shines more, I think.
He did not do Midsummer. That was Ari Aster.
That's right.
Wrong one.
Yeah.
What about you?
There's
Kahuna?
another one though. There's another one.
There was
before-
another one he made though. Yeah.
after The Witch.
Yeah, I'm checking right now because The Lighthouse.
Oh
The
yeah.
Lighthouse is the other one. I still need to see that.
I have not seen that movie.
Okay, Kahuna, you should see that because not as a cult. Actually,
I
very
think
little
I'd like
occult. The occult is all in the symbolism. Actually,
No,
wanna-
it's just how do I explain this?
I don't think there's much in the Lighthouse.
If I don't like how it was used in this movie. That's why I don't like it, because I normally don't mind those scenes in other movies. Like, in it can serve different purposes. Like, oh, maybe this is a point where this native people touch the divine and where the physical and spiritual meet, and that's where big decisions are made for the plot. Or maybe this is a representation of a culture that's really interesting, and this is a way to kind of understand these people. And like, there's 100 interesting things you can do with these kind of scenes, and I feel like almost none of them were done in this movie. I like, for the purpose of what Dave said earlier, for the purpose of like, oh, what's real, what's not. He's unreliable.
It's true.
This is like an unreliable character study.
He's a berserker.
Through his own eyes. I like that aspect, but just for for me, it wasn't. I wanted more from this.
Wasn't
movie,
to your taste.
perhaps.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a float. It's just not for me. Sorry. As much as I enjoy this movie.
It's like you watch it, you appreciate
Mixed
it
bag.
for what's there, but then like not something you'd like, as you put it, not something you'd live in constantly. Because of the overall dark tone.
Yeah. It's weird. You can have all, like, if you describe a bunch of stuff in this movie to me, I'm like, yes, I would love this. And then I watch it, I'm like,
not for me.
Doesn't know. Maybe my target is a little off center for this one. That's okay. I'm okay. I don't hate Rocky like Justin, so I'm not that far gone. But
I like Nosferatu better.
A lot better.
I
will
agree with that. Even as the guy who picked that movie, I will agree with that.
But I do. But the action in this,
really well done.
Action is really good. It just is very surprisingly infrequent.
Actually.
Essentially, we have like the one scene, and then just like a couple assassination things, and then the fight with the lava, which is great. But again, that's 3 scenes in a very long film. I wanted more.
Yeah, it's basically the King's assassination, the Berserker raid, the game, the ball game.
Yeah,
surprisingly violent.
Seeing the strongman Thor Bjornsson show up in that, I'm like, I felt like, I'm like, this does put a smile on my face.
This does put a smile. And the assassination of the king, very good. One of those long shots where we get to see, like, all in kind of one take. He's getting stabbed multiple times, and it feels very real. We're watching the guy die. So
it helps they got an amazing actor, because they grabbed Ethan Hawke, and he absolutely kills it.
Literally.
He
literally
so
does.
Good in that role.
He does.
Also,
My wife,
who
my
was the
wife at like
lead-
4 different points in the movie had to pause because we watched it on Amazon Prime. She had to pause. She's like, "Is this who I think it is?" Pauses, and sure enough, it was. And Ethan Hawke was
Yeah.
the first one she did that with. You can almost not recognize him at all in that role.
I
That's true.
did, but I'm like, they really did him up for this movie.
They did good.
They did.
I love
like this character.
Willem Dafoe was awesome.
Oh my God, Willem Dafoe was so fucking
So, like
So
making Willem Dafoe a Viking shaman, like that's so good.
holy crap, dude! For real though, like I was geeking out. I was like, Willem
That's a
Dafoe's just
genius
like,
move.
He has
Dude.
the eyes that you really need there. Also, I
Oh.
love when you figure out, like, you watch enough of a certain actor, you're like, you like this actor and this actress a lot, don't you?
I don't blame him. He's doing the right
I-
thing.
It makes sense,
not
but it is
wow,
funny
I
when
think-
you see the pattern. You're like, oh,
I would do
you're
it.
in every movie.
Yeah,
I can't
would.
believe I didn't clock Willem Dafoe in this. I fucking love
Oh,
Willem
yeah.
Dafoe. I
Yeah,
did not
dude.
clock
So
him in
good.
this. Holy shit!
He gets lost in the
Just
character.
goes to
dude.
show, yeah, this is a movie to get all the details. You need to watch it more than once.
Speaking
But-
of which, another funny detail about that, wild guess who he wanted to play the wife in Nosferatu, but she couldn't do it.
Anya
Wild
Taylor-Joy.
guess. Yeah.
Okay.
And she would have done good in the role. I'm really happy it was somebody else. And that it was Emily Rose Depp. She
She did good.
just killed that role.
She did
also.
good. She annihilated
Yeah.
that role. It was
She done good. I'm like,
so.
she did such a good job. I can't imagine someone else doing it now.
I think that settles it. We got a floater.
So good.
But that brings us to the next segment where we talk about our guest and their various projects.
We're to talk about Dave.
Yes.
Oh.
A humble Dave.
It's where I eliminate the banners and the trackers and anything on screen like that, and we just focus on Dave.
For that, real quick, we've done it like twice in a row. Why not continue it? We need to come up with a funny, vaguely Roman sounding version of your name. So Dave Laticus.
Davidicus.
Yes, there you go.
Leviticus, I like that.
Oh, it's good, dude. Also, I love coming up with vaguely Roman names that are obviously fake. Like we came up with one the other day on the Discord. What it was like Abraham Pigliticus. Pigliticus, that was the name.
Pigliticus. Oh my god.
You will find it visible when I
Yes.
say the name of my friend.
I have I've had this idea for a barbarian. Okay, it's a D&D character, just very quick. Barbarian chef, Porksire the Succulent. And he's some sort of werepig. I need to incorporate a pig theme somewhere in there. Maybe he takes a pig totem because he's a barbarian, or maybe he's a druid and transforms into like a crazy pig. But yeah, Porksire the Succulent.
Shockingly close. That is shockingly close to something my friend Heavy actually did. He did,
I
although
didn't do it.
That's
he
like
did
the level of
he did
Porkins in
do a
Star Wars.
barbarian chef, but rather than having that animal like werewolf component to it, his whole thing was instead of using like an actual two-handed axe or great mace or something like that, he beat people to death with a giant ladle.
Oh,
Right,
I
or
thought
like a
you were gonna
frying-
say skillet, like go.
Yes,
go
like a
loader on
frying
it.
pan, a cleaver, some sort of chef thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
He basically used oversized chef implements to kill his enemies, and
Yes.
then the monsters he would harvest and cook them.
Yes, that's the whole point.
I
yeah. Anyway,
wrote a short story a long time ago about this. It's like he was an international hunter, and basically he just hunts like cryptids and monsters from other realms just to eat, like as a big game hunter, essentially.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we're going Cthulhu fishing today. Gets in his ship, goes to. Yeah, it was fun. Anyway,
Dagon trolling this morning.
it's like he had a sidekick who was Bigfoot. It was Bigfoot who would wear a big Hawaiian shirt and sunglasses and smoke a lot, but he was a good helper. Anyway, tell us about your writing, man.
And a shaved Bigfoot.
He just looks like one really weird tall dude now. Ugh. All right, tell us about your creative projects, my friend.
All right. So, quick introduction again. I'm D.S. Brandt, the man behind the screen. My main work can be found on the link below my name, Tales of Calamity and Triumph.substack.com. And I write fiction, mostly fantasy fiction, a little bit of horror here and there, a little bit of contemporary here and there. You know, it's kind of a smattering, but the majority of what I write is either long-form dark fantasy or pulp-inspired adventure fantasy. And currently I'm published in 2 books. I have my own self-published novella, In the Giant Shadow, which is currently available on Amazon. I am working currently on a second edition to fix up a couple small errors that did make it through the final editing pass the first time around. So in the next few months, it probably is going to be updated with a new edition.
Leave the mistakes. That way they know it's not AI.
Well, the story's not really going to change. It's just kind of fixing up a couple of small things and a couple mostly formatting errors that crept by when I was transferring basically from Word document over to Amazon. The other thing I'm published in is the Steel Hearts Anthology, which was a project that was done entirely through writers on Substack. Features myself plus 6 other writers from the platform. Was put together by the brothers Kryn and MB Haywood.
I know. Yeah, I know the brothers Kryn. They're cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. No, I actually, I was talking with AC before we started a little bit about my familiarity with StreamYard. One of the other things I did, we kind of fell off the wagon with it because time zone differences got pretty vast. Joe has, for the last about 4 or 5 months, he's actually been working a teaching gig over in France. So the time zones are vastly different now. With me being
when you're off continent, it gets a little tougher.
Yeah. But we used to run a podcast like every 3rd Saturday of the month. We would run a little podcast highlighting fantasy writers from Substack to just sort of help people expand their reach.
Cool, man.
You know, but yeah, the second story in this is mine, Terrors from the Red Mountain, and we were mentioning early on, I can't remember if it was during the show before, but we were discussing the idea of caveman fantasy stories. Well, that is one. And it's basically, there are 3 stories in this sort of unnamed series.
Heck yeah.
It's unnamed series following these 2 brothers that live in a primordial jungle, Black Paw and Wide Eye. You know, pretty simple reasons behind the name. Black Paw has a burnt hand that was scarred black. Wide Eye has scarred up white milky eye. Pair of brothers.
Like, but what's the symbolism? Actually, it's just reality.
It's just the
yeah.
They hunt dinosaurs in a primordial jungle. Sometimes like, you know,
sometimes we
regular humans from modern nations will accidentally end up in there, and shenanigans will happen. The story in this one is the second story I've written with them, Terrors from the Red Mountain, and that one deals with the brothers. Their tribe gets attacked by basically gargantuan bat creatures that kill and then kidnap like about half their tribe. So they join a bunch of other displaced warriors from different tribes who've come together to hunt the creatures down back to their lair and destroy them.
So I looked up your name, and for some reason, it's sponsored, so it's just an ad. But this is the first thing that I see. I knew it. We found him, boys. No,
The last Nazi.
my
last name is German.
Oh, hey, it does bring up Steel Hearts, though.
Yep, Steel Hearts, and then right below that you can see in the Giant Shadow.
And the Giant.
Yeah.
That's a great name.
Which I've got it available on Kindle, hardback, and paperback. I am currently, apart from the re-edit of In the Giant Shadow, just to fix those small errors that slipped through, I am also going to be soon starting the proper edit for its sequel, The Jarl's Son, which is going to actually be a full-length novel about probably once the edits are done, roughly about 100,000 words. So, decent size.
There we go.
Both of
All
them
right.
following the story of the same character, just at different times in her life, and showing.
Do you have
sort
a
of,
story that you would say would compare, like, oh, it's like if you're trying to if you're trying to sell it to someone, you're like, oh, it's kind of like this. Like, is there a aspect of the story that is kind of similar that you would use to describe it?
It's difficult for me to do that because I drew small elements from a lot of different things. There are a lot of
As
small
any good
elements
writer
that
should.
yeah, there's a lot of small elements in it that draw from Norse and Celtic mythology. But I would say, in terms of bigger things you could see in it, there's little touches of Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow. There's little touches of the occultism from the Northman, though not to the same style and degree. And the Giant Shadow kind of lives a little bit more in magic and spiritualism, and tends to deal a lot more directly with the concept of dreams. And
Yeah.
dreams, effectively, in the stories that I write in this setting that I've created, dreams aren't just an experience that people have, they're an entire another reality that people can stumble into. And that's one of the key things that happens.
Is it something any character in that world can stumble into, or is it
Yes.
just specific? Okay.
Yes, any character can stumble into it, to the point that there are spiritual creatures, and one of those is a character in the book. There are spiritual creatures that exist that their entire purpose is to act as guides for people who get lost in the dreamlands, to guide them out. And basically their purpose tends to be twofold. Either they are there to help people who have accidentally, like, instead of just dreaming, accidentally stumbled, and their soul has basically tripped and ended up in the dream world, to help them get out. Or certain people are pulled there with intent, and they are there to help them find their destiny. And that latter portion is more what In the Giant Shadow focuses on. Follows a character.
Reminds me of Wheel of Time a little bit, with the kind of dreamscape kind of situation there. If you've read that or not. I mean, it's not direct, doesn't sound quite right, but it's similar. It's like, oh, there are guides, there are people who kind of know their way around.
Yeah,
you can be sucked in enough to get hurt or to learn something. There's elements there.
Yeah, those elements are there. I haven't read a whole lot of Wheel of Time. I honestly have always struggled to kind of get into that because
the first book is tough. I'd even argue book 2 is tough. And I'm not going to tell people, oh, you read 3 books and then it's good. But dude, third book, like books 3 through 6, I wouldn't give any of them less than a 9 out of 10. Like, they're really, really good. But again, you have to get into it. That's hard.
Yeah. That was my wall. It's like I tried, not last summer, but the summer before that in 2024, I did try getting into it. I got about 7-8 chapters into the first book, and
some of the characters are insufferable, especially in the book.
That was part of my difficulty. The other difficulty was I did that coming right off of The Lord of the Rings, and the difference in the pacing was really stark, because you consider they start very similarly. I mean, you start with a party and people talking about, like, setting up this
farmland and strangers in the night.
A lot of that same kind of stuff, but the Wheel of Time takes about 2 to 3 times as long as Tolkien does to get things rolling. It stays building things up for much longer in that first book, and by the time I hit the point where things started, I realized, as good as the writing is, I'm not invested enough in these characters, and I'm not invested enough in this world, just because it kind of dragged its feet too much. It indulged a little too much, kind of like you were talking about with the occultism in the Northman. It just sort of overindulged.
It overindulged. That's a great way to describe it. It overindulged, and it didn't. It didn't earn its place, so to say. Yeah. And people who have trouble with Wheel, I get it. What is amazing though is some of those female characters who are insufferable and are terrible in that first book. Mm-hmm. I actually like some of them now, and they haven't essentially changed that much. I'm like, I can't believe I'm like that little British girl. I can't believe you done this, Robert.
So
Can't believe
that-
you've done it.
that's something for me. Like one of the things for me is, obviously writing's my passion. So I have literally, like, I started my journey writing at 8 years old. I've been doing this off and on for 31 years. Like, I got enamored with writing short stories and stuff. And granted, I was 8. They were fucking terrible. They're horrible.
Oh no, I'm sure
It's
they
like
were
trying to
masterclasses.
Yeah, you're trying to cram an entire story idea. When you're 8 years old, you're trying to rush through it and cram an entire story idea into one page.
That was what my
At
brother
least
did,
this-
dude.
that was me.
He took like everything that he loved and then just put all the things he liked into the main character, who was also like him, but also the coolest guy on the planet.
Now I will say that was something I never did as a kid. But the main reason for that is because the characters I always liked were the monsters. I grew up on, like, obviously fantasy movies, horror movies, Godzilla, all that stuff. Like, I lived that shit. I mean, I got them hanging out with me.
Oh yeah. Got it.
Yeah, that reminds me. My son, he got a little Godzilla robot, and by little, I mean it's like probably yay tall
from
like yay long.
From the legendary movies.
Legendary, yeah. If you
Yeah,
it has
some of those
it has
toys
a
are
thing on its head. You
huge.
put water in it, and it breathes steam when it glows and it roars. I'm like, this is
That's
actually
cool.
a cool toy, and I can't believe
I-
someone else got it for you.
This is totally off topic, but I remember when I was a kid, one of the random gifts I got from my parents, like, my mom got my brother and I each, like, a Captain Planet action figure, but it wasn't Captain Planet. It was one of the kids. Like,
dweebs.
I think she got my little brother, the Islander kid who has the heart ring, but she got me the Fire Kid. I don't know how the manufacturer got away with this, but literally the Fire Kid had a switch on its back where you could pull it down. It would pull a lever, and it had a flint and steel inside of it that would cause his chest to spray sparks. Like, you're giving a 5-year-old a toy that sprays sparks everywhere. You better believe I love that thing.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna lie either. Story time. I was traumatized by that show when I was young.
I don't blame you.
Now, hear me out.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that it's like globalist and weird. Anyway, besides all that, that doesn't matter. I was a kid. There's a multi-episode story arc that I didn't get to finish. I got about halfway through. I was 2 episodes into a 4-episode arc. It's like, oh, there's this potion, and if you give it to somebody, they turn into a giant human rat forever. Anyway, end of episode 2. Almost all the characters get turned into permanent giant human rats, and then I had to leave my friend's house, and I never saw the end.
I remember that one.
I was bothered by that at the time. I'm not gonna lie, man.
I
Messed
remember
me
that
up.
one. That was freaky for a little kid. But yeah, so back to the writing. So yeah, like I said, the main projects I'm working on right now are my revision for In the Giant Shadow, and then getting the editing and beta reading done for the Jarl Son. I hope to publish that later this year. It might come early next year, but the hope is to get that published sometime within the next 12 months. That's the goal. Obviously, it's going to depend how much work needs to be done. Currently, I have the draft version is up on Substack, free to read. Total of 23 chapters. They're all kind of split up into smaller segments for easier reading. And I do have, for all my longer form stories like that, I always make a interactive table of contents. For In the Giant Shadow, you can actually find that it is pinned as the first post on my page. So anyone who does start to read that, that's going to make your life a lot easier for tracking it, because with the way everything's kind of cut up, you're looking at like 45 parts to this thing.
That's a lot.
Serialized fiction is very fun to write. It is a
Hell
pain
to
in the ass
publish.
to keep. Yeah, publishing it is, it's got its difficulties. Figuring out that stuff with Amazon and other digital publishers and stuff, because I haven't even tried submitting this stuff to anyone, and I've never intended to. I'm planning on doing this all myself. But
Yeah.
Publishing this stuff has its own challenges, but really, like, the big thing I've noticed, because at this point now, between In the Giant Shadow and the Jarl Sun, plus one other project that I've been working on that I probably will go back to at some point after I finish this, which is a much more wholesome story called The Castle on the Hill. This, I'm probably going to return to it sometime next year after I finish editing the Jarl Sun. But the goal with that story is to write something that's more meant for something that, you know, a thrilling, engaging fantasy story that parents can read to their kids, but the parents can still enjoy it too. You know, and it's like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing this as somebody, like, I currently don't have kids, just luck of the draw, it hasn't happened. But I also, my sister does, my younger sister does. She's got 2 kids, and I look at them and I think, hey, you know, I want them to have something good to read. You know, both my sisters have my book. You know, they both read it. They both loved it. Quite a few of my friends have read it. I've gotten a few pretty glowing reviews of In the Giant Shadow so far, and
Cool.
I've had a few people give me a lot of praise for even the, you know, the early draft version that's currently up of the Jarl Sun. And a lot of the people that really liked those darker stories told me when I was originally writing the first few chapters of The Castle on the Hill, and the only reason I stopped that is because I got so overwhelmed with work that trying to balance that with the second story in my series just was too much. I had to put one of them down, and that was the one that was the more appropriate to put down at the time.
Right.
But a lot of people were telling me they even liked that one even better. So, I mean, it's been getting a lot of good praise so far, even only being 6 chapters out of however long it's going to end up being in. But I'll be working on that. I've also got an anthology series I'm working on that's a lot easier to get into called The Pearl Divers Adventures. And, I mean, that's, you guys are the Iron Seas, you know. That's seafaring adventure stories. I think that kind of stuff is going to be right up your alley. So those stories, and funny enough, kind of throwing back to the D&D thing. So those stories were actually originally born of a character that my friend Heavy made for a D&D campaign named Captain Molo Pearl Diver, who, funny enough, our friend made this whole homebrew setting, and one of the things that he did was, like, he created all these kind of various animal folk. So my buddy Heavy's like, oh, you know what? And the Lord Otter would absolutely love this. He wanted to play an otter. He wanted to play a suave otter bard who became a pirate captain. And it ended up being just like a really fun romp of an adventure. And I decided at some point, you know, I kind of want to write something more adventurous, but I didn't really have any characters in mind at the moment yet. And then Molo kind of popped back into my head. I'm like, you know, I could kind of take this character and sort of convert it. I'll make this like an homage to my friend. I'll just write this one story for it. Well, that one story over the course of the last year became 8. So I've got 8 short stories.
Now it's just a thing.
Yeah, I have 8 short stories in this growing anthology of this, you know, somewhat shady but generally decent, very suave, not necessarily heroic looking, because, you know, he's a bit chubby, he's a bit short. You know, he ain't the best looking dude.
We all grew up reading things like Redwall. We can do with the short fat hairy one can also be a hero.
Exactly. And yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like, Molo's crew is sort of this band of misfits running their own merchant ship, trying to figure out their way, like balancing dealing with these like big kingdoms that have their like strict rules and regulations versus, you know, living this free but dangerous pirate's life and dealing with all the various dangers in the world. So it's got a wide sway of the stories of stuff dealing with, like, you got stuff dealing with supposed ghost ships. You've got stuff dealing with pirate crews, like trying to rob them blind, monsters living in jungles, evil sorceresses, all kinds of crazy stuff like that. It's just, that's my series where I just cut loose and I lean hard into the crazy shit that they did in the pulps and just have fun with it. And, you know, they've been pretty well received. And then apart from that, it's just a few random short stories here and there that funny enough, like, it's the random short stories that always perform the best on Substack because those are just the easiest things for people to pick up and read and not.
Oh,
feel
it's like, well, it's contained. It's contained. You don't have to know all
Exactly.
this lore. It does really simplify that kind of thing.
Yeah. And it's like, even though I do write all the Pearl Diver stories to be standalone, you can, with the exception of 2 of them, there are only 2 that read one into the next. All the other 6, you can pick them up in any order, read them. You'll get a sense of who Molo and his crew are. You'll get a sense of the kind of adventures they have, and you can just like chill and have fun with it. But when you're writing it as part of an anthology, you put the title of the anthology in the title of your posts. People are still going to think, oh, this is part of a series, so less people are going to read it. It's just the name of the game. It happens.
Yeah, that pretty standard there, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but like having people read your books, that's a cool thing.
Oh, absolutely. Like, one of the things I post at the beginning of most of my posts, I include a little information blurb with like ways people can support me. But the thing I end it with every single time, and this is 100% true for me, if you're giving my work your time, like, time is something we can't get back. We give our time to something, it's gone. You're never turning the clock back. You're never getting it back. And for the people out there who give my work their time, I will always be grateful for that. Whether you give me $1, whether you buy my book, or whether you just read the stuff I have for free, you're giving me your time, and that's invaluable. And I have deep respect for that, and I always appreciate the people who are willing to give me their time, to see what kind of work I'm putting out. And happily, most of the time, people have really enjoyed what they've read so far from me. So that tells me apparently I'm doing something right.
Well, yeah.
Across,
sorry.
Just curious, across all of your different works, though, like, what's your favorite world to write in, and what's your favorite character?
So here's the funny thing: all these different works actually take place in different areas and times in the same world.
Oh, the same world. Very cool.
It's all the same world. Yeah.
A lot of people, I've noticed that's a big trend in a lot of indie fantasy recently, or even indie in general. It's like we want the big expansive world where everything can exist kind of in its own separate but connected way. It's not a bad way to go, but it's an interesting trend I've noticed.
No, it's absolutely a very current kind of trend. It wasn't something I set out to do, because the development of this world was very much largely by accident. Before I moved over to Substack, which is about 3 years ago now, I spent about 4 years working with a friend of mine, Hair Illustrations from over in the UK. We worked on a webcomic together, and the setting that I have been writing in was something that we started developing together 15 years ago. It started just as a very simple sort of free-form tabletop setting. And then from there, some years back, while she was in art school, she got the idea. She was like, I really want to try my hand at making a webcomic. I want to challenge myself with that. I want to, it's going to be a ton of work, but I really want to do something where I can put my art out there and challenge myself to grow and try new things.
That's the story of a lot of webtoons and webcomics. It's because there's always been a place in the market for people who can draw and do stories. There's always been kind of a place for those, but there was always kind of this harder to find medium. It's like, what if you're good at the stories but you're bad at the drawing, or vice versa? Because those people all exist, and a lot of the time they want to tell their own story. So this is a great way for that kind of thing to happen.
Yeah, and we kind of lucked out in that with her having pretty solid art skills and a very distinctive style. Her style is very much her own. It's almost it's in some ways almost a blend of some of your older anime styles with like Golden Age Disney. And it worked really nicely for the story that we were telling. But it's one of my favorite things. Like, every now and then I still will go back, because we still have, the comic is called Phoenix Rising. It never got finished. Shifts in our job schedules forced us both to, put it aside for some times, particularly her. She had a
Story
shift.
as old as time. Yeah.
Exactly. She had a shift in her job schedule. Then, she and her husband, they had their first kid, and so it's been basically put on permanent hiatus. Maybe one day we'll go back and finish that first story arc that we had planned, but if we do return to it, we're probably only going to finish that first story arc rather than going through the ambitious original idea we had, which
The
looking
20
back on
arc
it,
series, yes.
well, yeah, it was like 4 or 5 different planned stories that we had for this idea. And then when I look back on it now, I realize with full clarity, like, oh, we were shooting way beyond our limits with that. Way beyond our limits. But it was a great project to pick up because it taught me a lot about how to publish.
Learn.
Oh yeah, you learn how to publish stuff online. You learn what kind of story beats do and don't work. Gave us a lot of room for experimentation. And on the visual side, which was her side of it, I did the writing, she did the visuals. One of my favorite things to look at is there's a clear evolution for both of us that you can see from the start of that story to the point where we had to stop. The quality of my writing did improve, but what you can really, really see clearly is the quality of her art skyrockets, because she started this in the middle of art school, and then about at the halfway point of before we ended was when she graduated, and you can see this ramp up in quality of her work as she was experimenting
awesome.
and learning these new skills. I love
I love seeing that happen with an artist.
Yeah,
Like
that's
for
awesome.
me, I notice with my editing sometimes, not all the time, but every now and again, I'm like, my editing's getting better, or at least I'm noticing it's getting easier. Like I know the trick. I know if I want this edit to be a bit more silly or a little bit more grounded.
Yeah,
it's like I can kind of just pick and choose what I want now. I'm like, that's kind of cool. And it's cool seeing that happen with an artist specifically.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because especially with a visual artist, like when you have an ongoing project like that spans years, because we were originally going to try for once every 2 weeks, because we were posting on Webtoon, and Webtoon's algorithm wants you to post weekly. Like they really want you to post.
They want that schizophrenic, like the Gen Z kids need their content. Feed them.
Exactly. And with the work situation that she and I had, that was completely unfeasible. So we were gonna try once every 2 weeks, twice a month.
That's still a lot for people who.
Yeah, it was still a lot, but we pre-wrote. So we were publishing Phoenix Rising on Webtoon for about 4 years. We were working on Phoenix Rising for 6. We wrote out 2 years worth of stuff before we started publishing with that plan in mind.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
And we got about 2 months in and doing the once every 2 weeks thing. And we stopped and we talked. And like, the once every 2 weeks thing is leading to really short uploads, like long enough that like you're hitting the beats of the story that's going on, but they're short.
Yeah,
it's like
a lot's happening.
And so we reached out to the handful of readers we had, and we asked them like, hey, would you guys prefer it? Like at the time, I think we had like 6-7 people reading us, and we asked them like, would you guys prefer it if we kept up with twice a month, or do you want us to make something bigger once a month? Every single one of them told us, do it once a month, make something bigger, like because like the way your story flows, that would work better. And it did. It worked much better. And
yeah, you have a little bit more space, a bit more flow, get to polish it a little bit more. It's a bit bigger.
Exactly. And it took a lot of time for us to get any traction, but we kind of got a little lucky. We got really lucky with that, because I ended up getting an in with one of the guys that now has a Webtoon original. It's a creator by the name of Aten Maru. He creates an AC. You would love this story, I bet. He creates an action adventure comic about a young orc boy named Gull, who it's basically the story of how he becomes the story from how he goes from like this goofy little slacker to basically a great warrior who has to basically avenge and uphold the memory of his people. Really, really, really fun story. Back before he got picked up as an original, I got to know him and quite a few other creators. It was during my time in Webtoon was super advantageous. So just show up like the cover art here for In the Giant Shadow was actually done by somebody that I had met on Webtoon. Goes by the handle of Chief Lane. He was one of the people that
It's a cool cover. It's got it mixes styles a little bit, and then it makes me think of, and then I have like a Berserk flashback, and then I come to. It's fine.
Yeah, no. So
it's just I can't see an eclipse without thinking of Berserk now. It's my fault.
Yeah. Yeah. That's totally fair. But he's one of the guys that kind of showed up in the server because one of the things that Atmaru and the couple of people he had running his Discord server ended up doing was they really wanted to tailor it as a place not just for people who are fans of the comic to come and hang out, but for budding indie artists to share their work and kind of get noticed, get seen. And one of the cool things that Atmaru did is before he got picked up as an original, when he was on the Canvas program, and he had a lot more freedom to do this kind of thing, every couple of weeks, if somebody in his community was creating a project, he would highlight it at the end of one of his installments. And about 6 months before he got picked up, he highlighted Phoenix Rising, which ended up it blew us up from something like, I think we had something like 80 followers, and suddenly it blew us up to like 600.
That's big.
Overnight, it was this massive explosion, and like just
that's what you want.
It was fantastic, and it was really the most helpful thing with that was it got a lot of extra feedback for us on the kind of things that were working, the kind of things that weren't in the story. For her, it was great because it was helping to build her confidence a lot because there were not a lot of stories on Webtoon that had the kind of visual language that her art did.
When your art is different, you run the risk of people not liking it because it's too different. But then you also it's a risk reward thing. But because on the other hand, maybe that's exactly why people want it as well.
Yeah, because Webtoon is a Korean site. It's manhwa. It's got that Korean visual language through and through for most of it. There's a few things that are very distinctly Western in their style. There's some stuff that's very distinctly Japanese. And hers hit this middle ground between the two that a lot of people found very, very appealing. So that was a great boost for her confidence. Obviously, it was a great boost for me, for the praises the story itself got. But more than anything, it was just those 4 years that we spent actually publishing it were an incredible learning process for how the online ecosystem works. And obviously, every site, every social media, all of these things are going to be a little bit different in this. But that taught me that there are some rules, some ways you do things that are universal, and that helped a lot when it came to establishing my Substack. Like it took us about 3 years plus the help of another creative to bump us up to 600 followers on Webtoon. On Substack, it took me 2 years to hit 600 followers, and basically it was just by networking with people, networking with the right people, finding like-minded people, and staying focused on my work and staying focused on just being true to me.
Finding your lane and then connecting with the right people. That'll exactly. That's a good way forward.
Yeah, and so like the main things I do there, most of it's my fiction, but every now and then I throw book reviews up there. I throw movie reviews occasionally. Every now and then I'll write essay. Speaking of movie reviews, I actually did review the first Missouri Breaks movie, The Ballad of Missouriville, on my Substack. Very fun movie.
Thanks,
very
dude.
Enjoyable. I had a lot of good things to say about it. Like I offered some critique here and there, but I always try to be very fair with that kind of thing.
It's like I don't get why the good guy was being hunted down the entire movie. I really agreed with him, frankly. I think he made good choices.
Where's the ballad? I don't see a ballad, but I like the bill. The bill was enjoyable.
Yeah.
Or it's like
Yeah, I
that like How I Met Your Mother thing. It's like, oh yeah, Johnny from Karate Kid, the main character. Like it's a great movie up until the end where he gets his ass kicked by that weirdo. Love
Yeah.
that stuff.
But yeah, I mean that's mostly what I do. The biggest thing going forward with my Substack that is going to be different this year, actually the two biggest things, there are going to be more book reviews from me. I am dedicating a good chunk of 2026 to reading indie novels and novelettes, like indie publications from other Substackers. Technically, AC, you do have a Substack. You don't use it, but you do have one. I will be including your book in this. I'm going to be reading these things, giving reviews for people, just trying to do what I can to help boost. You know,
my
awesome,
Substack. My Substack was something I couldn't quite get to stick, and I plan on bringing like all the Substack activity back once I get a workflow, like a workflow schedule going, because we just moved.
totally understandable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's on my mind.
Yeah, no, totally understandable. It's a difficult thing to balance. Like honestly, the main reason I'm able to balance it at the point I am in my life now is because it's really because of the day job I work currently, the company I work for currently. Like I have enough time in my day that off work and at work, I can dedicate a little bit of time to that. If it wasn't for that, it would be much slower going. Like it's not always an easy thing to dedicate that time. You know,
I don't know how hard and fast the rules are, but yeah, I have my spirit animals on Substack, which is like my all ages thing, which
A little
I guess
violent,
you could take.
but I like.
You could you could take.
Oh,
You
you
died.
mixed your mic.
Nope.
No, you're
Nope.
not back.
Nope.
Oh
Nope.
wait,
I-
there.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
don't touch. Okay, so aside from the spirit animals thing, if you wanted like my actual like a copy of like one of my published works, I have my anthology out. I'm happy to send you that. I also have my book that's finished, but it's just being edited.
Yeah, I can't remember which of the two I've got on. I got one of the two on Kindle here.
That's probably yeah.
I think it's your actual published book, which is what I was gonna bring up.
Perfect. I'm always
yeah, Mortal Descent.
You died.
Is that your
AC.
book?
That is the book. But yeah, AC's
Okay.
died.
Oh, am I
Oh, yeah.
am I back now?
You're having
You're
we're having
back.
problems.
Yeah.
We good?
Yeah, you're
I
good.
need a new mic cable, but that's all right. Yeah, that's my book. Let me know what your favorite story is on there, and yeah, what you think.
Sure.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
I plan on doing many
I'll
more of
be-
those than making like omnibuses of them. So
His
Yeah,
book.
yeah.
His book. I know which of the short stories is best. It's not a question. It's
Yeah,
not.
but,
It's not up for interpretation. We all know what it is.
it's the
I
appendices
did.
in the back.
I did my my first entry for that actually on the 3rd. I posted my first review entry for that new project. I read Tom Schechter's The Daughters of Vey, which is part of his own fiction dark fantasy kind of series. Very well written. It's kind of a prequel novella to his series. So I've already got the first one down.
Yeah.
I'm working on the Brothers Grimm's book, The Crown of Blood. Which is probably
I
gonna
own
be the
I
next
own it.
one.
I haven't read it yet. I have a lot of books.
Yeah, I'm about halfway through it. It's pretty good. It's very dense. You know, Joe and Dan, they love that old school, like old world style of writing, which is very fun to read. But I will say, like,
It's a lot sometimes.
yeah, it's a lot sometimes. It can be challenging. And one of the things, like, you wouldn't really know it from talking to them because they speak very fluently, but technically English is their second language. They're French speaking first.
I had no idea. I've talked to them multiple times. I had no idea.
No, they're French speaking first.
I knew there was something about them. No.
Yeah, but I've noticed reading Crown of Blood, like there's a few moments where I'll run into like an odd idiosyncrasy, an odd bit of syntax, odd phrasing here and there, and then they'll click with me like, oh, this is written out kind of strangely because it's those French rules are kind of sneaking in there. with the English.
Just like
Which-
this, one of these words is not quite there.
Yeah, but I mean, on the whole, it's pretty good. One of the things I really enjoy about that one so far is that it's an anthology written with an overarching plot. So, and the book follows the story of the Crown of Blood. So it's the
Anthologies
succession.
are weird. They're weird to read
Yeah.
because sometimes like it's a theme and then they're all completely different. Sometimes it's and then again then it's the case where it's like, oh well, I like this one and that one, but this one and this one are
Yeah. So
Anthologies are
this
tricky that way.
this particular one they're doing is it focuses on a familial line of kings, and the rising and fall of these kings fighting for the particular crown of their nation of Khalid. And yeah, so it's a lot of bloody conflict, a lot of like interfamilial warfare for succession. It's it's got a lot of good stuff to it. And Joe and Dan kind of share the burden writing the different stories. It's been quite enjoyable for me so far.
No, that's good.
But yeah, so that's going to be one of my focuses this year for my Substack is reading more independent works and reviewing them, kind of giving that signal boost. And then, I'm not a pro editor, but I've done a lot of it helping with editing and stuff like that. So one of the things I'll try to do is like offer constructive criticism in areas where I feel need it.
Yeah, I want to do more videos about that too, but I've had like an anime manga bug for a couple of months now. I'm like,
That's fair.
like most of the time I'm like, it'll go in phases,
Sometimes.
like it'll come and go, just like any of my interest. It'll ebb and flow with time. But recently that bug has got me pretty good. So I'm like, hot damn, it's hard enough to find time to read. I've been reading a lot of Japanese picture books recently.
Yeah. But yeah, the other focus is going to be more of a shift back towards the short stories, mostly just because the serialized stuff, fun as it is to write, I know it's really difficult for people to keep up with. So serialized stuff is going to be shorter form stuff like the 4 or 5 part novelettes, which as AC scrolling through them, you can see the latest one there, Red Rubies and Silver. I just finished that last month. Most recent short story, Leçon à Trois, which was written for a Substack community event called the Midnight Vault, which really for anyone who wants to crack into the fiction space on Substack, that's kind of like the good thing to do. Find a couple fiction authors there to follow them on Notes, subscribe to them. I could give you lists of people who are great. And quite a few of these people, every few months, they'll throw up a community event, an idea where it's basically like toss out a prompt, toss out a general idea, and just basically ask people to write for that. Send your stories in. They'll help you share it out, get you some traction. And that's both not only going to help you find other people that you might enjoy reading, but the other big thing about it is that's a great way for you to network.
I love Substack. I love the idea of it. But I've discovered a problem in the last year or so of my life, maybe 2 years. I have a lot of trouble reading a lot of words on my phone.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I really struggle. I can't do ebooks on my phone either. I've tried. I've purchased a bunch.
That is by far the single biggest hurdle fiction faces on Substack. Articles are easy. Most articles are short form. A lot of the fiction on Substack is short form, but
I don't know if this was I don't know if this was my computer or if it's built into Substack. I never could quite nail down how to find it and get it to work, but I think Substack has built-in AI that'll read it to you, so you can turn essentially everything can be an audiobook if you're brave enough.
I've noticed with the automated text-to-speech thing, I believe that might actually be logged by how many subscribers you have. I think you have to actually hit a minimum threshold of subscribers before that will unlock and start automatically collating for you.
That's interesting.
It's a
Yeah,
cool.
'cause
It's a
I've
cool
noticed-
idea that they offer it. I never heard of it before.
It helps.
Yeah,
a lot.
no, I know most. I think post length might have a little bit to do with it too. Like really short posts, I think it usually won't appear on. But generally speaking, I think if you have at least 100 subs within a couple hours or a couple days of your posts, usually it should appear there. The play button should appear on the top, and then through like the app, or if you're doing it through the web browser on your phone on mobile, it should show up, and that's one way that you can do that.
It could be raw traffic too, because I know I think it's like the first episode of my Spirit Animals has it, or something like that.
That could
the
be.
first-
I asked one of the guys who was behind, because one thing I'll credit them, even though I've got my criticisms of the site, anyone who's been using it does.
yeah.
One of the big ones, honestly, is they did make some back end changes last summer to how tagging and a lot of the tagging works between notes and posts. Which unfortunately, one of the big things that we were doing that saw a lot of success with helping other writers kind of get noticed and branch out and sort of build those writer-reader and writer-writer networks was the different theme days we would run. We'd have a horror day, macabre Monday for Mondays, Warrior Wednesday, and Sword and Saturday for various kinds of fantasy on both of those days. Warrior Wednesday leaning a little bit more into your epic and mythic fantasy. Sword and Saturday being more adventure fiction and pulp fiction. Thorny Thursday for romance. Sci Friday, pretty self-explanatory science fiction. But with the way Substack is set up, you would need to use pretty sizable tag lists to let people know that, hey, we're posting something new. Here's a new thing from this person. Here's a new thing from that person. And we would always, those of us who were organizing it would always try as often as possible to make it clear, like, if you don't want to get like a ton of tags, if you want to be pulled from these lists, we'll pull you. We'll make announcements to let people know not to include your name so you don't get spammed. We were trying to do everything we could to work within their system. And then they included a spam filter on the back end that made it so that any more than 10 tags in a post or in a note, you're not going to see it in your notifications.
Lame.
Even if you go one more than 10, you will not see it show up in your notifications. And then in posts, I have no idea what the limit in there is anymore. Half the time, that seems to be a crapshoot. I know a couple people that still use tag lists in their posts to let people know when things are going up. And once out of every 10 posts that I know I'm in a list for, I'll see a notification, and then the other times I won't. It's just stuff they're changing on the back end.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately kind of killed that project, but I will give
That
them
sucks,
that.
dude.
Yeah,
And-
but I'll credit them that they are active on the site. The guys that are running it, the guys that are doing the work on the back end, like, you can talk to them. And one of the guys, I think his name is Mills, I asked him at one point how the text-to-speech function works, like when does it show up, and he was the one who clued me in that, like, usually it's a subscriber threshold, but there are other ways to kind of force it. And I do think that one of the things he mentioned is, like, if a post gets a lot of engagement, then the system will recognize that and automatically include that. But there
make
is
it easier
not
for people to read or digest or whatever.
Yeah, unfortunately, there is not a way to just turn that on, which would be kind of nice. But
I took note of it because it's actually not that bad. I for a while there was making very quick audiobooks with it. I could put an episode of Spirit Animals up, have it read it back to me, and then just edit it so it's smooth.
Yeah.
Put a little track of music with it, and it's kind of a rough audiobook with a slightly robotic voice, but gets the point across. And I mean, that's a lot quicker than potentially. I mean, okay, for a short story, I'll say weeks instead of months of work. So, but yeah, I don't know. I took note of that. Substack is still a great place, like an all-in-one video format. You can put music on there. You can do.
It's really expanded since it first started. I got on Substack a long time ago, and it was just basically blogs at the time. Basically, is what it was.
When I got on, which was almost 3 years ago now, yeah, it was still at the point where it was just blogs. I think within 2 months of me being on there is when they launched notes for the first time. So I got them literally right before they had their Twitter alternative go up,
Nice.
which was an interesting time to be around.
It's like I would
Very-
love for some of the alternative places to some of these bigger names to do better, but like in the case of like audiobooks, like for the user, there is not a better place than Audible. It's worse
Yeah.
for the author, it's worse for the narrator. It's really good for Amazon.
Yeah,
But it's
Yeah,
but there's
Amazon.
there's no other one that's as user friendly, like not even close.
no,
It's
my
not-
wife
it's not-
uses
Chirp.
no.
I use Apple Books sometimes.
I can't remember what it's called. It's something that's linked to the U.S. public library system. And I'm
Libby?
blanking on it. Yes, Libby.
Yeah,
She uses
yeah.
Libby, but the challenge with that is it runs on the rental system like a library does. So
Which
if
is
somebody
retarded because it's a file. It shouldn't matter.
Digital rental.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, so if someone's using an audiobook, because one of the ones she's looking at reading that I listened to last year, she was looking at Blood Meridian, and it's like,
That's
oh,
a
you know,
file.
she's going to have to wait like a month and a half before she can listen to that, which upside for her is she's got like 5 other books she wants to listen to. So, you know, when the queue comes up, she's like, I mean, it's not a big deal. When the queue comes up, I'll listen to it then. But like, you know, if it's something that you want to read more immediately and somebody else has already checked it out, well, you're shit out of luck.
Apple Books is pretty good. Like I've used them.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only issue I've had with Apple Books was when I got the Elric Saga, because sometimes there are, like when I went from volume 1 to volume 2 and I started playing volume 2, I started playing at like book or like chapter 65, and it's like and then like, and I was like, okay, so like, and I had no idea where it started, where it was supposed to start. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Well, I get where I'm going, turn the car off, shut my phone off, then I leave, and when I get back in the car, load it back up again, it starts at the beginning of the book. It's like, what is this? What just happened? Like, I was
What a pain.
so
Yeah.
lost until I listened all the way back down from the top and got back down to like 65. I was like, oh, this is where it started.
Yeah.
No idea why it did
No,
that.
I can say at least that Audible did not have that problem when I was listening to the Elric Saga.
No.
Yeah.
Elric Saga, those are I really like them.
I need to get into it.
More
Michael Moorcock is one of my favorite authors.
besides
and-
having
so
the
good.
funniest name in all of fiction.
I know,
Besides that,
Moorcock?
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Elric
funny
is
'cause
so
if-
good, man.
If you ever ask, if you ever talk to the brothers Crin about Michael Moorcock, Joe refuses to call him that. He insists. He's like, no, it's Moorcroft. His name is supposed to be Moorcroft. It's not Moorcock, it's Moorcroft.
you know how funny it is for me to be talking about books and or, like by my bookshelf and like, and you know what we all need in our life? More cock, like zoom over.
Yeah.
Moorcock. Yeah.
It's funny
Every
time.
single one of my
Every
friends has
single
made
time.
that same joke.
You know what we need?
It doesn't
we
matter.
Need Dick.
It's still funny every time.
You need Dick, and then you hold up Moby Dick. Yeah.
Still not. It
We need
doesn't
more Herman in our life.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's on my list for this year too.
Here's a random question. Do you have a favorite? What was a book that you like, a classic book, one that they might have made you read in high school that you didn't hate?
I can think of two. Of Mice and Men. I actually genuinely love
Great
Of
choice.
Mice and Men
It's a good
and
book.
The Outsiders.
Ooh, nice.
See, we didn't get to read that book. That would have been a cool book to read in high school.
The Outsiders was probably my favorite of all the required reading in high school. Yeah.
What was
And
the
there's-
worst? There's a lot.
I mean, if we're talking at the time, probably To Kill a Mockingbird.
I don't hate that book.
Man, my
Now,
English teacher.
I promise and I plan to either later this year or maybe early next year, I'm going to go back and I'm going to reread it. I guarantee as an adult, I am probably going to appreciate that a hell of a lot more than I did in high school.
Man.
In
Hatchet.
high school, I hated it.
Dude,
What do you guys
we
think
had-
of Hatchet?
I like the Hatchet. The Hatchet was good.
I never read that one.
I never read that one. In
No,
high school.
Hatchet was good.
Yeah, read it with your
Um,
kids, bro.
Yeah, it's good.
It's
I
like that.
had I heard the owl call my name. It's the woe is me Native American book.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Is
Yeah, I
it
never
like?
read that one.
It's
Oh,
very
we had
to
very
read-
it's very depressing. It's like, yeah, all we do is sit and drink fire water. It's like go into the woods, connect with your people, and then he gets lost, and it's terrible. But
Oh, geez.
I mean,
oh no.
speaking of books that have natives drinking fire water and stuff, it wasn't one we read in high school, but man, I wish they put The Last of the Mohicans on that list. I read the book for the first time last year.
is the book good? I didn't
I
realize it was
genuinely think it. I genuinely consider it to be one of the very best books I've ever read.
Oh,
I
that's
think it's
good.
excellent.
good.
Really good.
I have
plan to
a
go
classic that
read the
qualifies
rest.
for that.
Yeah, I plan to go back and read the rest of Fenimore Cooper's Leatherstocking books just because that one was so good.
I'll have to check it out. I didn't even realize it was a book.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
for me, Frankenstein. That's of all classic
yeah.
books. For me, it's unbeaten so far.
Oh, I love
And I've read a
Frankenstein.
lot of books.
Frankenstein's very good.
Dude, you
That's
guys
why
got
I-
lucky, man. We had to read The House of Seven Gables and Ethan Frome.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
come
lame.
on.
Those are
Yeah.
There are
oh,
worse fates. We had to read the Scarlet Letter, the worst book that we had to read in high school.
Trust me, bro. Trust me. House of Seven Gables and Ethan Frome are both worse than Scarlet Letter because I read Scarlet Letter too. They are
I-
worse than Scarlet Letter, dude.
How are they worse? Scarlet Letter is shitty people being shitty for the entirety of the runtime with nothing good coming of anything. It's terrible.
Because there's some emotional gravitas to it. Like, House of Seven Gables, at least for me, is just like I would rather smash my face into the chalkboard than read this book.
And then he
and-
started making metal music.
Yeah. My English teacher was trying to radicalize all of us. She was like having us read Fahrenheit 451 and The Giver and
I read
of my
The Giver
season.
was one I read.
The education system's bullshit.
Yeah.
Dude, my two favorites out of high school reading, though, required reading, were Lord of the Flies and The Hound of the Baskervilles.
Oh God,
Good
yeah,
choices.
Lord of the Flies. I can't.
Hound of the
believe that
Baskervilles,
that
that's
was the first
Sherlock
one.
Holmes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was making sure. I'm like, I know that's a
No.
Sherlock Holmes story. I didn't know if there was another version of it.
Yeah, Lord of the
Yeah,
Flies,
that's-
though, dude, bro.
Oh God, that book is something
That's
else.
an intense one, man.
Yes. Yeah, no, that was freshman year reading for me.
Yeah,
Uh,
same.
I think I'm pretty sure that was the first book we read in my freshman year English class. Like our teacher hit us with that.
They
and
went
then it
hard
was-
right away.
Yeah,
Yo,
same here.
she went hard from the start, and then after that, it was like Romeo and Juliet, To Kill a Mockingbird, all this stuff. It was like all this stuff for like this is what, like, for me, like being a dumbass high school kid, I'm like, this is what you're following up that book with? This sucks. Like,
Dude, but that's the thing, like, they
Started
did,
off strong.
like, senior,
Strong.
dude. Freshman year was Lord of the Flies, Hound of the Baskervilles, The Outsiders, and then by the time I got to senior year was The Scarlet Letter, House of Seven Gables, and Ethan Frome. I was like, you've
No.
got to be kidding me.
They're like
I'm
fun
already
time is over.
dyslexic and it takes
Crazy.
forever to read. Then you give me boring books.
Yeah. Yeah.
the crazy thing for me was like Outsiders in high school was sophomore year for me.
Yeah.
Huh.
But the first time I read it was actually 7th grade. Our
Nah.
7th grade language arts teacher had that as our second assigned book of the year. And like we read the book, watched the movie. And I mean, if you want to talk about a movie that accurately represents the book, The Outsiders is fucking it. Like I don't
Outsiders
know.
is a
I don't
good
know if you
movie,
get
too.
one that's more accurate. Yeah, I don't know if you get one that's more accurate than that. And
That's impressive.
I do. I might have one that's about there. The Great Gatsby. The movie is pretty much the book.
that's a movie I still
Pretty
have
much.
to see.
I
But,
didn't like
yeah,
the book,
I mean,
so I didn't
and-
care to watch the movie.
Yeah, with the Outsiders, it makes sense though, because they literally had the director or the writer of the book was on set like pretty
On
much the
set,
whole time.
yeah.
Yeah.
They were constantly referencing her. Like little bit of lore about that movie. After the fire, when Dusty, Johnny, and Ponyboy are all in the hospital, the curly-haired nurse that Dusty's talking a lot of crap to, that's the writer of the book.
Oh,
They let her
that's
actually
awesome.
be
That's
in one of the
That's
scenes.
awesome.
That's even
Yeah.
better. I love that's just she's in there for no. Yeah, it's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they let her do it because they were like, hey, yeah, you want to be in the scene?
Do you
yeah.
guys remember Brave? Do you guys remember the movie Brave, or not movie? Did you guys have to read the book Brave New World?
No, I actually checked that out recently, post COVID,
That's a
when everything
weird
became
book,
dystopian.
dude.
It's
Yeah.
it's
It's
I've heard
intense.
it's a freaky one. That's one that's on my to be read list.
Yeah.
Prophetic.
And all I'll say is it ends very Japanese, very traditional Japanese. That's all I'll say about that. But
But
yeah,
if we're diverting away from assigned reading, because one of the things that I appreciated about my high school that was nice is there were a couple of periods where they would allow us to select what we wanted to read also. And in terms of the selected reading they had available, that actually exposed me to one of my favorite sci-fi books ever, in Ender's Game. Because that was one of the ones my teacher had on her shelf.
a good book.
Yeah, in 10th grade. Like, that hooked me on Orson Scott Card's writing. Like,
Yep.
he's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then for my own casual reading, like reading back on it, like it's not like fantastic quality, but it's still good pulp style fiction fun. There's a Forgotten Realms trilogy I read in high school called The House of the Serpents.
Yeah,
That one is
Yeah,
that
I
was a
heard-
good
yeah.
one. That's a really fun one from Lisa Smedman.
there's all these great older sci-fi series, and all of them in part inspired my favorite series of all time. It's like I like fantasy more than sci-fi, but then like my favorite things tend to be sci-fi. I don't know why. It's like Red
It
Rising
works
favorite.
that way sometimes.
Yeah, it's like even in video games, like I love fantasy. It's like Halo is my favorite. So,
I
Those
get
Halo
that.
books were pretty damn good.
dude,
Fantasy,
I'm letting my kids listen to them on Audible right now. They're pretty. Some of them are really good.
I would say
I'll admit
fantasies.
that I'm
I was
Go
just saying that fantasies. I get that because fantasy is my favorite my favorite form of literature, but sci-fi is my favorite genre of film.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So like, I get that. I get that.
Mhm.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
cool.
technically speaking, like, yeah, it's the same with me. Fantasy is my favorite form of literature. Most of my favorite books are fantasy, but right up there with a lot of my favorite fantasy books are a lot of sci-fi books, and then my favorite
Yeah.
movies are usually sci-fi horror.
Heck yeah.
Event Horizon.
Oh yeah.
Horizon.
I need to watch
The-
that again, dude.
the-
What a
no,
cool movie.
The
Yeah.
original
like-
Godzilla.
They're like, hey, how do we
Yeah.
call it? I have a good name for the title, everybody. Doom. Have you heard of the game? Fuck. No.
Doom.
Ugh. It's like, oh, F it. We'll just give up then after an hour of it. Event Horizon.
Event Horizon also shout outs because it's one of the few Lovecraftian movies. Like, I don't know why
It's a very good movie.
people like
It's
want to be like Lovecraftian with their movie making so bad, but they nobody ever wants to like actually touch the Lovecraft mythos. It never ever go full Lovecraft. So like when you're doing a little research, Event Horizon is one of the few that like gets like some Lovecraft street cred. Just
Well,
not
it's tough because they don't. They like the trappings of Lovecraft without understanding the fundamental
right.
parts of what makes like humans in Lovecraft. It's like about the human mind breaking and not understanding, and the paranoia and the fear,
Yeah.
and
Which is
that
what
seems to really
Event Horizon did.
struggle.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
it really played with that, and that's
Yeah.
why it felt like Lovecraft when all these other ones that are like basically Lovecraft don't feel like it.
Yeah, it's more like Cronenberg.
Yeah,
Cronenberg.
Lovecraft
People are
is-
like, that's
yeah.
Lovecraft, right?
Lovecraft too, like, it's already, I mean, that kind of concept, it's difficult to translate into film. It's difficult to translate even into like
Yeah.
games too.
Yeah.
Like, I've played a handful of games that are like distinctly Lovecraft, like the Shadow over Innsmouth. They made a game version.
I love
horror
the warnings in the beginning. It's like, by the way, we're not racist. But
Yeah, but it's like, but then you look at it like, what's the horror game out there that's the most successfully Lovecraft? It's freaking Bloodborne. Like,
That's
pretty much without any shadow of doubt, because
Mhm.
it gives you no idea that it has anything to do with Lovecraft until it slowly sneaks that in. Well,
Dead
Speaking
Space
of
gets
Lovecraft,
pretty
I mean-
close too.
also,
have
Dave, have you
Necronomicon
seen
sitting around
these
stuff.
have you seen the French illustrated versions of these?
No, I haven't. But
well,
I'm sure they're
they're-
incredible. I've got the French illustrated comic versions of the first 3 Elric
Let's
books.
see the cover. Yeah.
It's like every
Oh,
single
yeah.
page is like this quality or
Yeah,
better.
that's dope.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
And they just did a full page. Yeah, dude.
I see those 2 stories, the Mountains of Madness and Shadow over Innsmouth, like those two could be, those 2 are right for a really good film.
For a really good film. Yeah.
Like those 2 could be
Yep.
done. I think those 2 could be done.
Oh, I've been wanting that copy. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
also Dagon, right?
Did
Oh,
you know that Dagon actually got a movie?
Yeah,
Did
it
it?
did. I was gonna say
Yeah.
there have been a
It
few.
was I'm pretty sure a sci-fi original.
Oh, no.
But
Oh no.
it was one of the few times, like, and granted, it's one of those situations where it's Lovecraft and the trappings, not so much in the story, but
Yeah.
it was one of the few times a sci-fi original went hard.
It's
like,
cool.
you know,
about
though.
all
it-
the stuff.
you know, like for the first time in 15 years, let's not have a human hybrid or a human shark hybrid movie where the woman fucks the shark. How about for the first time in 15 years, we don't do that original movie on the side?
Yeah, for the first time in 15 years, we won't do that, but she will turn into an octopus.
But she will still,
Yes.
yeah, she will be an octopus. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some
Yeah,
like
that
mouth
one-
breathing fat Japanese man in the back. I
Yeah,
love these
from
movies.
a story perspective, that movie, like the Dagon movie, is really, it's a mashup between the Dagon short story and the Shadow over Innsmouth. It kind of takes
Okay.
both of them, squishes them together, but then also makes it very not. It's like, it's not psychological horror at all. It's more Cronenbergian.
Yeah.
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 Lots
I
of
think
tangent people and a giant monster and
But I've-
sacrifices.
I've watched gameplay videos of that Shadow over Innsmouth game.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, they did a pretty good job with that, man.
They did a pretty solid job overall, because they leaned into the survival horror element. The only part where it really falters is that you got to have the boss fights against the big bads, and so when it's like, you kind of lose that Lovecraft angle when you're suddenly on a ship firing a cannon at actual Dagon. It's cool as shit.
That,
It
that's
doesn't really feel like
yeah.
Lovecraft.
Yeah.
It's
You have
like
to be going
it's
insane.
like Lovecraft by Canon Film. Don't lie. We would all watch and adore that film. Whoever was in it.
I mean, I shamelessly love Reanimator, and based on a Lovecraft story, yes, Lovecraft.
no,
Not at all.
I don't think Lovecraft had that many tits in it.
not as many. That was more Roberts. That was Roberts' foray so much.
Yeah,
Right.
It's like if it's not onto Conan's arm, there are no tits.
But we
should probably
on-
start wrapping up
I
because
was
some
just
of us
gonna
have a
say.
bedtime here tonight. But
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I gotta go to bed.
including me.
Yeah. What do you guys'
Wait,
final
you have
thoughts
no
here?
kids. You don't need to go to bed, Dave.
Yeah, but I do work at 6 in the morning.
Yes.
That's true. That's true.
Work. Yes.
And it's like you're gonna be gay with your wife, just like all you married people out there.
My wife is sending me
Well,
some pretty gay texts.
it is California. We would have put that.
Yeah, she's my wife. Yes.
It's my wife, Eve.
She walks in. Dave, come on, let's go. Christ. And now she's going like, oh honey, I'm gonna watch your interview tomorrow, and you're like, don't.
Oh, please don't.
Some shirtless man did a really bad impression of you with a deep voice.
some shirtless islander just butchered your impression, your likeness.
And yes, he
Oh,
was paid
man.
to take his shirt off.
Yes, he was.
Is that prostitution?
This is like very light OnlyFans.
The answer is not yet. Hey,
Irony.
animation, thanks for coming in right at the very
Yeah.
Animation comes in clutch.
All right, let's start doing final plugs, and then I'll take us out of the world.
Sounds
Starting
good.
with you, Jarrod. Final plugs. Anything you want to talk about? You hit any deer by your house recently? Any of the 500 million that live in your area?
No, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Nope. I would love it if everybody could, like, for a week, go to Tubi, go to our movie on Tubi, open up a little picture and play, and just put that sucker on repeat all day long. As long as you're on your computer, just mute it and put it down in the corner just for the spins, because we're trying to build up our watch time on Tubi. So that would really help. It's Missouri Breaks, the Bout of Missouri Bill, Tubi.tv. And yeah, they have a really good their picture and play actually works.
I will look into it. I will say I don't think you're the demographic they promote generally on that platform, but I would love for that to change.
Yeah, apart from our movie being on there, I really have no idea what much about Tubi, but I know it seems like it does pretty well for us, and if we could boost our watch time on that would be great. And then the trailer for the next film where even shadows fear to tread is forthcoming this month. So it's almost there. So stay tuned. We're gonna make kind of a big deal about that. And so yeah, just keep an eye out for that.
Sweet. All right. Mr. Dave.
Well, you can find me primarily over on Substack, like it says via the link below my name on the screen here. Tales of Calamity.
Are you on YouTube?
Substack.com. I used to be, not anymore. I used to make tabletop content on YouTube, but that was about 5 years ago. And around COVID time, I was forced to stop. So no, I don't really have much of a presence on YouTube other than going on other people's channels and doing stuff like this.
Oh, it's a good
Heck
time,
yeah.
man. I'm glad you came on.
Oh yeah, it's always a great time.
Man.
This was a fantastic time. But yeah, most of my fiction you can find up there. You can also find links through the either if you find me on Discord through the various servers. Like I'm in the Iron Sea servers. If you ever see my name on Discord, you want to find easy links to my pages, click my profile picture, bring up my profile. I got links to my Amazon page. I got links to my Substack page there too. Yeah, you can find both the books I'm published in, the Steel Hearts Anthology and In the Giant Shadow on Amazon. And after I get the second edition updated, I am going to also be extending that over probably to, oh God, what's the name of that platform? Well, I'm maybe extending it to additional platforms as well, so it's not just going to be available on Amazon.
Sweet.
More options for people, because we all know not everybody not everyone wants to slip money into Jeff Bezos's pockets.
Yeah, but it's so easy, and there's everything on Amazon now, and it's fast.
Yeah.
It's like I hate how convenient it is, and how cheap it usually is.
Yeah. But yeah, you can find my fiction there, book reviews, a few movie reviews, a couple essays, plenty of short stories or longer form stuff if that interests you. Lots of fantasy, adventure fiction. It's a good time.
Sweet. All right, AC. Final plugs, my friend.
Well, I'll keep it simple and quick this week. Go find and follow Empty My Lungs, my band, on Spotify and YouTube and all the places. But Spotify is the important thing because that's where all the metrics are registered and where all the streaming actually happens. But go pick up that 10-year anniversary album because there's a brand new full length with even more songs coming down the pipe here this year. It's called Apotheosis, and it is very much a contained story and many years in the making, actually. It's a throwback to over a decade ago with a lot of songs that I had in the old chest gathering dust I brought them out and defibrillated them, brought them back, including 5 from the EP that I named Necromancer. I released it for free on YouTube a while back. I completely redid that whole album. So I necromanced a bunch of songs, slapped them together, added some new ones, and yeah, it's the new vision of Empty My Lungs coming down. Jarrod is even on one of the songs there too. He comes into play right at the hopeful part of the record with Evaleighmusic, Captain Evalee. So after I exit the cave, so to speak, Evalee and Jarrod are helping me and sing about the light. So good stuff. Refibrillated, yeah, instead of defibrillated.
Yeah.
You got to refibrillate the zombies, right?
I'll let you know now. I've got both that Tubi link open and the Spotify link open to both your guys' stuff now.
Dope.
Oh
Thank
yeah,
you.
thanks,
Sweet.
bro. Appreciate you. Yeah, and let me know what you think about the music. There's more coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah,
If it's metal, it's
Jarrod.
probably going to be up my alley.
Oh yes, it's metal. I'm the vocalist too. So there you go. Yes, I'll have everybody watching Missouri Bill over here. We'll try to get that watch time up for you, Jarrod.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
looks like a
Appreciate
couple
it.
people in the chat already got it open.
That's dope, dude. Thank you
That's
guys.
all I got on my plug.
Missouri Billy. Yes, we will watch it.
Billy.
Billy!
Bill!
Gotta get down to Missouri.
Peek out my mic.
Yeah.
Actually, it's an SM58. It can survive.
It's going to
a
be fine. Yeah.
It'll be fine.
It's right out of Stranger Things. It can handle Vecna. You'll be fine. Did you see that photo?
My mic is an incredibly fancy 12-year-old Logitech webcam.
Oh, my favorite.
Those
It's
don't
so
do bad.
Does the
It's
job.
so
Back vocals with a web.
being able to modulate my voice on command is so much fun.
Anyway. Thanks everybody for listening. Kahuna, you want to take us out?
Yes, last few things. Tomorrow I have a short on my own channel coming out about black names and why they're funny. As well as on this channel tomorrow, we will be releasing a video a special that AC and I filmed just the other day. The first Iron Seas University special, and we will be talking about kind of a story engine and soap operas and how that all comes together. It's really interesting, and I recommend you watch it. Thank you for watching us. It is Tuesday here on the Iron Seas. See you next Tuesday at 6:30 PST, the Lord's time. We will be joined by Mr. Andrew Briggs on the Instagram kind of forefront of media, and we will be discussing a movie that affected him as a child, that touched him, so to say.
Cool.
And that would be Disney's Hercules. Thank you, and see you next time. 1, 2, 3. Woo!